Welcome into the Cam and Strick Podcast, episode number 122.
Ooh, we got a good one today, homeboy.
What do we got?
Well, before we get into Brantt Myres and fucking talking cocaine and party and God almighty, we get into a lot of shit with him. He's fucking awesome. I was thinking about you the other day, Andy, and I'm thinking about myself. And, of course, Brantt Myres has a ninth grade education. So do I. But
did you make it to ninth grade?
I did. I was great till ninth grade, and I fell off.
I know, you were like an honor student.
Honor student. Ask my mom.
Yeah, I know.
You don't believe me? Ask my fucking mom.
Can I just ask you this?
No, let me
finish.
I bet you any amount of money, and I've never said this with anybody in my life, that I could beat you in an IQ test.
Oh, probably.
Really?
Maybe.
Oh yeah. Because I know so many more
IQ,
things than you as a whole. It's ungoddamn believable.
You might be able to do that.
Yeah. Can we do that so I can pump my own tires up?
I was never good at testing like ACT, SAT, nothing like that.
I mean,
but I was always really good at like memorization.
Your memory's there, dude.
Like flashcards.
Your memories, that's where you're good.
Yes.
You're great at that, memorizing different things like
street smarts.
You are so fucking dumb. I mean, so fucking dumb.
That's bullying.
I don't care right now. No, I pump your tires up, but I bring you back down. That I bet you I could beat you in IQ
you
test.
Might be. Now, can I ask you, the CHL?
Yeah.
I hear more of these stories. I mean, and a ton of them. I mean, people will be shocked how many of their favorite NHL players never graduated high school.
Oh,
and
God.
I've talked to dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of players in a dressing room talking about this very same subject. Why aren't we doing a better job in the CHL and whatever to making sure kids are finishing high school?
I get what you're saying with that. 100%.
Like, why aren't I finish high school?
I'll explain. Okay, so in early 2000s, and I love Mike Kelly.
Not everybody makes it to the show.
I'm exactly right. So here's the deal. You're 17 years old. Okay, I'll give you my situation. You're 17 years old, and you're hanging out with your mommy and dad in your mommy and daddy's basement with your buddies, and like maybe you go to my other buddy's house in their basement, and maybe we could sneak girls in. You go to fucking Windsor. You're 17. You're walking right through fucking backdoor clubs, and you're the guy, and you grow up so much faster. Now listen to me.
Everybody doing that though?
Fuck, we're 15 deep walking in there like, what's up? And fucking hanging out with everybody. I'm just saying. Yeah. And so you grow up so much faster, and then all of a sudden you go to school, and you're the big dick at school. Like everybody's like talking to you. You're in the paper. You're doing this. And you have all this attention. You're like, why the fuck do I am even paying attention to this right now? Like I'm showing off to the girls. You're doing this. You're living the life. If you're playing well. If you're not playing well, then you're just a jackass. But if you're playing well and you're getting attention, all of a sudden you get drafted, and you're like, what am I doing here? Why am I going to a Catholic school?
I understand
besides flirting with chicks?
But the teams and the CHL specifically, very few players are making it to the NHL at 18. Like, not many.
No.
There's a handful of players that are. Small handful, too. Okay?
Yeah. No doubt.
So why isn't this a priority? Like, make sure kids are finishing high school.
Andy, maybe it is now. This is like 20 years ago.
I get it, but finish high school.
Totally. And there's shit that you learn in high school. Like, if I went back, I would...
Like, just because you're getting into clubs, and I get it, your name's in the newspaper and whatever.
It's a different mindset.
It's the same situation. No, it's the same situation for the kid that's being recruited to play football at Alabama.
No doubt about it.
Or the kid that's playing basketball at Duke. They finish high school before they go play college.
Because they have to go to college. You have to finish high school to go to college. You have to finish high school to go play in a fucking show or anything. Or even go play in Europe. Like, why? What are you learning there at that point? You're like, and not to mention you're gone in 3 years. But it's a rotation.
I'm hoping that junior teams aren't just like treating players like they're a piece of crap. And it's like, okay, you're done with us. Okay, move on. We're not worried about you finishing high school. Well, they should make it a point to make sure kids are. Hockey obviously is important, and a lot of kids have the opportunity to go on and have long professional careers, make money. Some kids make it to the NHL. Most don't. Most don't.
99% don't.
Most don't.
99%.
So let's make sure we're setting these kids up to be successful in life.
Totally, man. But that's up to them too. Look, no one told me I could have done it. And most of the guys on the team actually did it. I just didn't.
I don't want to name names.
I just didn't.
But some guys, I was like surprised because they are like. It doesn't mean that they're not smart or they don't come across as very intelligent. Because just because you don't finish high school doesn't mean that you're not.
Did Pronger finish high school?
Probably not.
Probably not. Smart as a fucking whip.
He was in the NHL at 18, right?
Chaser too. Yeah, he was. Chaser too. He didn't finish. He finished high school. Meadow Lake, Saskatchewan High School.
Well, he might have. I don't know.
But I'm just saying, like,
he wasn't in the NHL at 18.
No,
and you can't go to the American League till you're 20.
Till you're 20, no doubt about it. And so, look, the game plan might be different now, but it's just like you're there for 3 years. The team knows that you're fucking gone. You got a little bit of money now. Not that means you're making the NHL, but you're certainly on your way.
Very few.
I'm just
had the signing bonus money.
I'm telling my story and how my process was. Like, what am I doing here? I have to sit here in not only, I went to a Catholic school just for the girls, but I had a dress.
In Windsor.
Windsor. I went to 3 different high schools just to meet new people. And I had to wear this, like, I went to Eureka High School here. You do whatever the fuck you want. There's people, I had to wear this thing, and it just, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
What kind of thing?
Like, I wear the same clothes every day. A uniform. I'm like, what the fuck? So I would never wear the uniform. Then I'd put my USA jacket on and go there, and then they'd be like, Cam, you have to. I'm like, okay, I'm see ya. And I just leave, take my truck, boom, and go hang out with my other buddies. It just was, look, it could be completely different. I was in my own world,
and I'm not naive because I can hear people saying it to themselves right now. Oh, yeah, well, the kid who's in high school who's going to play football or going to play big-time college basketball, like, they're probably getting help to get out of high school. Okay, they're not like necessarily, not all like honor roll kids.
Exactly.
But
and you think they're doing work in fucking college too?
Let's make sure we're helping these hockey players.
I agree with that, man.
High school
I agree with that
too.
Because a lot of guys get into a jam where they think that they know where they're going, and all of a sudden they don't. And they're like, now what am I good at?
You know, I listen, when I was in high school, and I went to like there was
public school. You didn't go to a fancy school.
No, it was very diverse, man. We had
Parkway North.
We had a ton of African American kids. Yep. We had
wealthy,
Asian, Indian, everything.
Hoosier,
right?
wealthy,
Hoosier,
whatever.
Wealthy, yeah, exactly. We had a little bit of everything. Did I tell you I played football in high school, by the way?
Didn't.
I was a cornerback, and I had 3 interceptions my freshman year, and I was right winger on the Did I tell you that? Did I tell you that?
I'm not even going to be mean. Everybody wants me to explode. Okay. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to play your game.
So I would see some of these kids who were exceptional athletes, and some of these teachers just had no personal skills. They had no people skills.
Oh, really?
And they would fail these kids. And these kids wouldn't pass history. They wouldn't pass math. They honestly struggled at it. Now, did they always put in the most effort to pass these classes? No. But I wasn't a very good student either. I just wasn't very interested in it. Until I got to college, actually. I got really good grades in college. But they would fail these kids, and then a lot of these kids, like, their ticket out of the hood, out of their neighborhood, was through sports, right?
Yeah.
Football, basketball, whatever particular sport that they excelled in. Mm-hmm. And then they couldn't play high school sports because they didn't have the grades to play high school sports. They would fail them. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, you're not helping this kid out?
Like, stay after for 2 hours with him.
Make him come early and make him stay late. Make sure he's eligible to succeed in life. And for my high school, man, that was always a big issue, and why until they made some changes with some coaches where our teams never succeeded in sports because our best athletes were never eligible to play.
Yeah, ridiculous.
So stupid, man.
And you're a teacher for a reason. Like,
that's right.
That's like your investment. Like, be like, I see you.
Yeah.
I know where you're at. I know where your mind's in a different spot. You're looking at girls all day. You know you're an athlete. You know you're going to do okay. Yeah. But you're fucking sucking right now. And in order to get to the next level, I need to help you.
Right.
But on the other hand, though, some of these fucking kids, you can't teach anything.
You can't.
They're fucking dumb and they don't give a shit.
You're right. But wouldn't you, as an educator, be like, listen, I'm going to help this kid because this kid has an opportunity to succeed in life.
Help his family.
By playing sports. And he can use sports to help his family and to get out of his neighborhood or whatever and get to the next level.
But there are teachers that do help.
Yeah.
And
they weren't at my school.
And maybe help a little too much, too, at times.
Yeah, they weren't. There's no doubt.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you, man. Again, my 9th grade, and I just was.
You hear about the tutors and everything. They're doing all the work. They're testing.
Hey, I want that 35-year-old hot teacher tutor.
Our rival high school, I mean, there was a big-time athlete. I don't want to say who he is. Went on to play in the NFL, actually. Was like the best football, basketball player in the area. And another kid took his like ACT for him so he could get, and he got busted several years later.
Oh, yeah.
And it came out that like, hey, he didn't even take the ACT on his own. But because of that kid went on, he wasn't dumb, he wasn't stupid, whatever.
No,
he wasn't great at school, but guess what he was great at? Football.
Yeah, but
and
why
he
do you
made
need
it to the NFL and he made a lot of money for his family.
Okay, but why do you need your ACT to be a certain score to get into the
college?
Yeah, but okay. So you have to have it, even if you're recruited and all that. You have to get a certain.
You still have to have certain grade. I don't know. No, you still have to have certain grade point average. You still have to have your credits, all that type of stuff.
You ever see all these articles with these teachers banging the students? And the teachers are so fucking hot. And they show the mugshot of them, and you're like, and then you see the little kid, and he's this fucking little kid. I'm like, even when I was young, 13 years old, I was horny as fuck, but I would be so intimidated to try to bang a teacher that's 35 years old, that's hot, and these guys are smashing the fuck out of them, and it's like, where'd you get that confidence?
It's a lot of, I know.
Well, now, 15 years old, they're like,
the students.
Yeah.
But where do the teachers who are like in their 30s or whatever?
What do they
First off, when I was in high school,
it's like banging you or something.
I didn't have a teacher under the age of like 30.
My teachers were mutants, I thought.
They were like 60 years old.
Yeah. Men.
They were nothing you want to even come close to.
I had a couple, actually.
And then all of a sudden, like, even like when you have, like, my kids are in school now and whatever, and like the educators, the teachers nowadays are way younger than they used to be.
I'll tell you this.
I didn't have teachers fresh out of college.
I'll tell you this. If I'm a student and a teacher's hot and she's cool, I'm fucking paying attention. Just so all y'all know. I'm paying attention. Like, it's just that simple. And so I just see some of these articles and I look at the chick and I'm like, God, she's fucking hot.
So if you're a teacher, what's the moral of the story? You're a teacher right now and you see a kid who has a gift, something that they're special at.
Don't bang them.
But just because they're not great at academics, don't turn the page on them.
Yeah, no shit.
Help them.
Help them. That's why you're doing that. That's why you're doing it. I mean, that's what you do. Help these guys. Now, if they don't want help and they're a dick, fuck them. I mean, wait, to a certain level. Okay, like
hold on. I can't believe you just encouraged that. What did you just say?
If they're a dick and they don't want help and they keep saying keep being a dick and they say I don't give a fuck, then say fuck them. I mean, eventually
say that. Don't do it. Say that.
No, I didn't know what you were saying.
No,
she's fucking hot.
No.
Okay, no.
I can't believe you said that.
No.
We're trying to encourage them not to do that.
I'm confused. Okay. Just get good grades, and if you're a teacher, don't bang your student, and try a little harder.
I don't even know how it gets to that point.
I just saw an article the other day.
How do you bring up like that? How do you start having that conversation?
Oh, because there was this one hot teacher when I was young, but I was just like, fuck, I don't know what to do to you, but you're like, so hot.
Hey, Cam, she's like, you want to go in like the custodial closet?
I'm going to be in the NHL. I'm going to be in the NHL. And she's like, what the fuck, you little nerd.
Hey, here's a true story. What? I had because I used to have rental property. I told you this story before. I had a kid and his girlfriend. I don't remember.
It must be good.
You remember this, I think. You don't remember anything?
That could be true.
Okay, so let's...
So I have you
I have a conversation with you like yesterday, and you don't remember it the next day all the time.
We'll figure that one out. Go ahead.
You've been punched a lot in the head, right? I mean...
No.
How is your head? Your head's okay?
Yeah.
No. So this kid...
Thank you.
He comes in and he applies to rent the apartment. And I was like,
speed it up.
I was like, dude, you got the deposit. It's all good. Yeah. I didn't like credit check or anything. I'm like,
oh no.
No, he was fine. He was good.
Okay.
I could read people. But he went to Eureka High School and he was like, hey, I went to school with Cam Jansen. I'm like, oh yeah. He goes, yeah, he used to cheat off me in math all the time. And you would say, I don't need to listen. I don't need to pay attention. I'm going to the NHL.
I know.
You would really say that.
I swear to God I did. And it's the stupidest thing in the world. Mm-hmm. And you look back on it.
I don't need to pay attention. I'm going, I could see you saying that.
I did, dude. I asked and you know what? It's so funny. And my football teachers were so
I'm good, Raven, like brought you back down to earth.
No, that was this is when I wasn't cocky then.
I know.
That was in fifth grade.
But this is like high school.
This is when I was so cocky.
When you were running track.
Running track, get kicked out of football because I'm playing hockey. And then, my football teachers the football coaches were so mad at me. Because I was a good athlete, and they're like, this kid, and I'm playing hockey. They're like, what the fuck sport is that? Like, I ain't playing hockey. They're like, no, you're not. You're playing football. Football is what the fuck you're doing. This is what's going to make you disciplined. You're going to go to Mizzou. You're going to do this, do that. I'm like, no, I'm playing hockey. And so I almost fought a couple football teachers. I got suspended for 5 days.
What's a football teacher?
Or a football coach. They're both, which is stupid, by the way. So these
they are both, yes.
They're both. So you're a coach, and then all of a sudden you're in their social studies class, and all he's doing is taking notes down, and all of a sudden I get an F on something. He yells at me because I can't play the game, and I'm like, fuck you. And then, 5 games, 5 days, boom, gone.
5 games.
But I look back on all these football coaches, and I see them in Eureka. They're the coolest. They're the best. I'm the one that was fucking dumb, although it did work out. Mm-hmm. But they would take these city kids in and keep them over and help them. And now they all live out in Eureka, and they're all friends. Like, they're fucking awesome. I was a dipshit.
Like they weren't like the coaches from like Dazed and Confused, the movie, whatever.
Well, yeah.
Although you're gonna like flip out when I tell you this,
what?
And you're not gonna. I had a similar story when I was in high school. I was playing football. and playing hockey at the same time.
They really cared.
And
they want their 5'2" cornerback. It's missing because of the grades.
Okay, so
like, oh fuck, we're
so
fucked.
Listen, I go and tell the football coach. I'm like, hey, I can't go to practice today. I've got a doctor's appointment.
Is he like, you're on our team?
No, I said I got. So listen, true story. I said I got a doctor's appointment. Yeah. So then, like on the student announcements or whatever, they're like, Parkway North hockey practice today, 3:30. Our tryouts today, 3:30 at Creve Coeur Ice Rink. And all of a sudden, I'm in the English teacher's class, the last class of the day, and the football coach comes in. He says, hey, I want to talk to so-and-so. Takes me to the class next door. Hey, I found out you don't really have a doctor's appointment. If you're not in football practice today, you're off the team. So I went to hockey practice because I didn't have my football stuff with me. We had a new hockey coach. He's like, you got to be at one tryout. It's not fair to everybody else. You got to be at one tryout. So I went there, then talked to the coach, whatever. The coach made me go to practice for like 2 or 3 straight weeks. Wouldn't let me dress out. I had to stand there and watch football practice. Wouldn't let me back on the team. And it's like I had nobody to like call the coach and be like, here's the situation. Like my mom was like working like 2 jobs. She had no idea what was going on. And it was like,
that's a good story.
Why do they do that to kids, man? They make these kids choose and put these kids in a situation.
Because hockey wasn't relevant then.
No.
Look, it's because here's the deal. That's actually a good story. And I mean, chirp you on that one. But here's the deal. These fucking football coaches back in the late 90s and shit didn't know anything about hockey. Hockey was still not relevant in St. Louis. Come on, it wasn't. You still had your teams and stuff. No one gave a fuck about hockey, youth hockey in St. Louis at the time. It was getting there, but it wasn't there yet. So all these football coaches have all these dipshit kids that say, I don't want to do it. I got this. I got that. Excuse after, because football practice is fucking hard and it's a commitment and they're hard on you. So when you make that excuse that you're going to doctor, he heard that 50 times from other dipshits and now he's like, you're lying. Right. But you weren't lying.
But the hockey coach made me lie to the football coach because he's like, you need to be there.
Your dad, that's not having a daddy. My dad would have been like, this is.
But now that I'm a hockey coach.
Yep.
Like, why can't the coach pick up the phone and call the football coach and be like, yo, how are we going to work this out with the kids that play both sports?
That's fucking lazy, man. You know? But not having a daddy, though, man. I'm sorry. But, like, my dad would have been like, I remember having these conversations with him. Like, and he's like, well, you got to do something. I go, I'm going to run track. So, no, I'm going to run cross country. I couldn't play football because I'm missing football practice to go to hockey practice all the time. They didn't understand that. So, you know what I fucking did? I need to get in shape, and I need to play a sport. My dad's like, do something at school. So my cross-country coach knew I was going to miss practice here and there, but he let me come out and run cross-country. I was the last guy ever.
Cross-country?
It was the most...
That's not even track. That's like the worst sport.
The most miserable thing in the world, and I am not... I'm not like my body's not... You run for 3
practice.
You run.
Okay, guys, we're going to take it easy today. We're going to run 12 miles
Andy, it was so miserable, but I fucking did it. And now the coaches are like, wait, Cam,
you don't look like a cross-country.
Oh, I'm not one, but I did I'm not one. I was last, but I was the toughest guy on the team. But the point is, the football coaches finally are like, wow, Cam's not playing football because he's lazy like we thought. But now he's running cross-country to stay in shape for what? I guess he does play hockey. That's what happened. And then I made the NHL. So.
Did you?
Yeah. First one ever from St. Louis, which is pretty good.
Actually, you're not.
Oh, who is?
Pat LaFontaine.
Fuck you. He left at 7.
I listen, he counts.
No, he doesn't count.
At the local rink here in town, they have all the kids in order who made it to the NHL. He's listed as the first one.
I'm second. Pat LaFontaine's first, and they put me second. I'm like, he didn't even play hockey here.
But they don't mention another guy. I'm forgetting his name all of a sudden.
Oh, no, Cal Heater.
No, Paul Reinhardt, I think.
Oh, really?
I think he was born in St. Louis.
Yeah, you got to, if he's, well, I don't know.
And he may have made it before Pat LaFontaine. Maybe he came in after. I don't know.
Whatever.
But he was born in St. Louis, too.
I'm the first one. That's the bottom line.
The chosen one.
And my parents are the OGs of of hockey parents in St. Louis. They are. They didn't know anything, and they figured it out.
I am a hockey parent.
You are a hockey parent.
I was a coach.
You got to remember that.
I was a player. Was I a player?
No, and you're still not. You were god-awful last night.
No, it wasn't that bad.
You had a good play last night. With your hands aren't bad.
I made a really good play to you off the wall early in the game before I couldn't breathe anymore.
Andy, you made some pretty good plays in that game, but you are so weak when you're with your shot.
Now it's my stick.
You can't even lift the puck up. It's really weird.
That is not true.
Did you have wrist surgery or something?
That is not true. I didn't even try to shoot.
You need to do those wrist curls, man. I'm telling you, dude.
Okay, so now I'm a hockey parent.
Oh, yeah. Can I explain the trajectory on this? We talked about this on the radio show yesterday. Andy has little Ty. He's 4 years old. And now Andy's on the other side of things. And he's watching Ty and he's watching other parents. And he's been coaching 16-year-old AAA kids, dominate, fucking make the NHL. So he's in that mindset. But now you're in a different mindset. And you look at these kids, and some of these parents are really hard, even at the age of 4. And so we talked about this yesterday, Andy. If you're a parent and your kid's 4, 5, 6, 7, you fucking wink at them. You smile, you make him happy, you go to get him ice cream afterwards, you lovey-dovey. If he falls, you're like, good job. Hey, try this. Yay, you're doing good, Ty. You're doing good. 8, 9, 10.
That's when it changes?
You start kicking him a little way. No. Stop moving your feet. No. Actually, we're going to do this. Mm-hmm. No, I want you to move this over here. Mm-hmm. Blah, 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 blah. Then 9, 10, 11, 12. Mm-hmm. Now you're like, let's fucking go here. Mm-hmm. Let's go. You're playing hardcore hockey. You're doing this. You're doing that. Now if you have to sit him back, now if you come home from a shit fuck game and he doesn't work his ass off, you stare at him through that rearview mirror like my daddy did when you fucked up, and you give him that look for 25 minutes or an hour and a half, which was for me. Mm-hmm. So that's the timeline. If you're yelling at your fucking kid from 4 to 8, smack yourself in the goddamn face. Stop it. He needs to be happy and love the sport to get into it.
I will say my group that I'm coaching with, whatever, like we're not doing that. But I will say one requirement you have to be patient with young kids.
You have to be patient with them, man.
You have to, and if you don't have patience, then it's going to be difficult,
exactly.
Right? So you got to be patient. I think that's the one qualification you have to have, especially with very young kids. The group that I'm coaching with, I mean, I think everybody's got the right mindset. I told you, like, for years, when I started playing when I was a little kid, all the dads, none of them had any hockey background whatsoever. Like, none of them. There's still a lot of politics going on.
Oh,
a ton. Yeah. But none of them had a hockey background. Now, hockey's gotten so big here in St. Louis because of Brett Hall. Yeah. And, everybody grew up playing hockey now for the most part. Not everybody, but a lot of people who get their kids in to hockey at 4 years old, chances are their dad played hockey.
So that's good
so
and
that's
a curse.
A good thing.
But it's a good thing, and it's a curse too. And here's why. My dad always said that. I always bring my dad up, but you know what? Fuck that. Like, he's the best, and it is what it is. He knew that he didn't know anything about hockey, okay? You can watch the Blues all you want. Doesn't mean you know fuck about hockey, dude. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean shit. It means you like hockey, and you can understand it. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean you know it. And my dad knew that. So anytime a coach would yell at me and stuff like that, he would never go back and forth with the coach. He'd just be like, just listen to him. Fucking listen to him. Mm-hmm. But when it gave a little too much, he would have the rebuttal and say, I don't know about the game, but I know my fucking son, and he's not feeling right now. So there's something that we need to do. Like something like that, right?
Yeah.
Not like, fuck this coach. Again, it's just like, and you didn't have this. When my mom and dad fought, my mom and dad would never say, fuck your dad, fuck your mom, fuck your dad. They would just like, we love each other. This is tough. Da, da, da. So I wasn't confused.
So they weren't bashing each other.
They weren't bashing each other. Yeah. Just like if you're a fucking dad and you're bashing the coach, then you bash the other coach. Mm-hmm. Like your kid's like, I'm not going to listen to anybody.
Yeah.
And not to mention these dads that think that they played, they think they still, so like they think they know everything still too.
Well, you have to remind people that like, hey, it's
off.
Like, you're the draft year is not when they're like 6 years old, 7, 8.
It's not until 8.
But
once they get 9
18,
and 10,
that's when they get drafted.
Totally. But once 9 and 10 come,
correct.
Now it's starting to be like, what are you doing?
I know.
Are you committed? Mm-hmm. What are you doing? A lot of money you've been spent here. Do you like it? Because if you don't like it, what are you going to do then? Because you're not just sitting in the basement fucking beating your dick off. Although you probably should, Andy, because your wrists are fucking weak.
You think?
I know.
But my hands
aren't bad, dude. Like, you made a couple cool plays there, but fuck, are you weak at your shot, man? And not to mention, I rip a pass to you, it blows up off your
not
fucking.
True.
You have what's your flex? 3?
You're passing.
Andy, I scored 7 goals last night.
You're passing.
Off.
It's actually hilarious when you try to like maneuver in and out of guys and like try to make a pass. It's actually funny. I like watching that. Funny. You had one nice pass on a 2-on-1. It's weird how
Andy tries to fucking chirp me. It just does not work.
You had one nice pass on a 2-on-1.
I like how you try to dangle guys.
But sometimes when you start like, moving your hands all around, it just isn't really working for it. You got to do what you're good at. You got to focus on who you are. Embrace who you are out there, Cam.
Well,
I should have been behind the bench coaching back when you were playing. You'd probably still be playing
Andy's
today.
Lucky he's even allowed out there, to be completely honest with you. He's fucking... It's not like when Andy walks in, everybody's like, yes, put him on my team.
Oh, no, they are.
You're fucking Leo sometimes.
Leo.
You're
Actually,
Leo.
Yesterday I was Brown. I always pick the Blues alumni who I want to be for that particular day. They have jerseys, right? And so they have the last name on the jersey. So some days I'll want to be like Brian Sutter, maybe.
Yeah.
How about Bernie Federico?
Fucking Burn Dog, Holly, Gretter, Prongs, all of them.
Who? Gretter? Who's that?
Like shit, man. Like, no, we'll have...
Oh, can we give a shout out to Walter Gretzky? We didn't do that before.
Yeah.
We got to do that.
Yeah. Speaking of dads, man, we talk about dads all the time.
He is. Yeah. I mean, Canada's hockey dad. Canada's greatest hockey dad.
Yeah.
And it really trickled down here, too, because through Wayne, who's had a big influence on American hockey, too. You look at everything he did on the West Coast. That was really sad, man. And
yeah, but he lived a good life.
He did. No, but it's just really sad to see Wayne Gretzky, a legend like that, see him break down, talking at the funeral and stuff. And
we talked to Chaser too. I go, "How's he?" He's like, "He's good, man."
And no, I know, but like, sure. I mean, no matter who you are, when your dad passes away, whatever,
I'm going to be a motherfucking disaster.
But I mean, to see how he talks about his dad, the impact his dad had on Canadian culture.
Oh my! He's just a dad. He's the best dad. Didn't yell, did the right, just like we talked about, just like he's the first one to do it, and it worked, man.
So be a Walter Gretzky. I always say this about St. Louis hockey. The greatest thing that ever happened to St. Louis hockey was the 2016 NHL draft
Brett Hall
class.
First, but whatever.
Well, I'm just saying.
Brett Hall first.
Okay, but no
matter what.
I got you.
Just to say.
He might be the greatest thing that ever happened to the Blues, and I understand St. Louis hockey for sure. Ranks came up.
Why were we doing it?
But you know where I'm going with this. So 2016, right? 5 kids from St. Louis drafted in the first round, and some were like, "Hey, let's not make this an anomaly." Anomaly. And I'm like, okay, well, that doesn't happen in like Boston. It doesn't happen in Massachusetts. I mean, it is an anomaly. Anomaly.
Stop.
It is a anomaly because it doesn't happen in Minnesota. You don't see 5 kids from the same team who grew up together drafted in the first round. You just don't see it. Massachusetts, Michigan, Illinois, wherever the hockey hotbeds are, it just doesn't happen. So it's also the worst thing that ever happened to St. Louis hockey because ever since all these kids got drafted, I feel like we've lost our focus a little bit where it's like we got to get our kids to the NHL. It's all about getting to the NHL.
All my buddies' kids are making it.
Listen, I was around those kids when they were young.
Yeah.
And I was around Keith Tkachuk and these guys when they were young. Luke Cunning's dad and whatever. Luke Cunning's dad was my coach when I was a kid.
Frederick boys,
man. They were playing baseball. They were playing football. They were playing basketball.
He was going to be a quarterback.
They were doing other stuff, man. They were playing soccer.
Everything.
And it's like, there's this idea that ever since those kids got drafted, that like now here locally in St. Louis, we don't have any other kids. It's like, well, we got to wait for the next alumni to come through to coach all these. No, we've got like 30 kids playing like Division I hockey right now.
Yes, and look,
just because you don't know who they are doesn't mean that it's not happening.
No doubt about it.
We got a ton of kids that are playing. We're gonna have like 4 more kids drafted in the USHL from our 04 class, like our 04 birth year. Like we got a lot of positive stuff going on. Like it's not always about making to the NHL, but if you can get to have your college paid for. I said this to you the other day, man.
No, I said it to you.
No, I said
no. I said it to you.
No, but I said everyone has a different way of determining what it means to make it. Mm-hmm. For some people, it may be making it to the NHL. For a lot of people, and this isn't just St. Louis, man. This is all of y'all. Saskatchewan, Alberta, whatever. If you can get to junior, whatever. If you can get to college and play college hockey, have your school, have your education paid for, man. That is making it, man. That's the best, dude.
You want to be a big dick in college, like you don't have to make money in hockey to be successful. You need to be a teammate and learn how to recognize getting out of jams as a team. Mm-hmm. That's why everybody wants to hire ex-military, because you can put 5 fucking military guys in and be like, there's a problem, fix it. And what are they going to do? They're going to collectively as a team fix that goddamn problem. Mm-hmm. In a locker room, you're down by 2. Collectively figure it out. So that, in a sense, at a young age, will help you grow as be a teammate. You didn't score tonight, but you won, and you're pouting. That's not a good teammate.
Yeah.
Fuck you. You know, like shit like that. Yeah. So that's first and foremost. But in the end, to help your mom and dad out after paying all this fucking money and traveling and doing all this shit. Why do you think I only have kids? Because I don't want to live at the rink every day like you do.
Right.
And so
but I love it.
I know you do. But my point is, if you could help them out by really putting your head down and finding a way to get a college education out of it where they could fucking save them 50 fucking grand or whatever it is, and you get your education free, whether you don't even fucking play in the NHL or make a dime, you're meeting people and you're getting your education and you're going to get a job right after hockey. But the bottom line is, like, the kids got to like it, man. They got to have fun at an early age, and they got to learn to stop. Stopping's the hardest thing. Ooh. It is. Once you get that down, the kids are going to be like, I can't wait to go skate now. Mm-hmm. But if you can't stop, it's fucking miserable. But once you do, you're going to do it on your right leg first. Then you're going to try to do it on your left leg. You're going to break your ankle. We're going to roll. But once you figure it out, you're going to be fucking skating every day and love it. Mm-hmm.
All right. So Brantt Myres. Can you spell Brantt Myres?
No.
Do it. No, do it.
BRANT
Okay, because you almost messed it up already.
Or I don't know. God, I don't have to spell it.
No, you do.
Brody did, and we're going to tweet it out.
I told Brody, he's like, who we have on? I said, well, you're going to have to Google it. Like, don't just think, because I could see Brody being like, Brant Myres is joining us. I'm like, no.
I fucked up the other day.
You got to Google it. So it's like Myhres.
Look, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what his last name is. You type his fucking, you type in Brantt with 2 T's, like it's going to pop up.
And I got to admit, man, I didn't know much about him. You know, and I mean, in terms of his playing career, until I heard from Mike Commodore, actually, several weeks ago. We're hearing from Commodore again right now.
Did he tweet anything out yet?
Oh, he did.
Okay. Oh, God.
Well, I think he put it on Instagram. A couple things yesterday. You didn't see that? Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
Oh, man, he's well, because this is listen. Well, he's been crushing Babcock for years. This is the first time that I know of. I'm not just pumping our own tires. You can tell me if I'm wrong. I just don't know. This is the first time I've ever heard Babcock publicly
rip him?
No, publicly comment on Mike Commodore ripping him.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and anybody who's been following social media and see Mike Commodore just crushing Babcock, I think people are like, oh, wow, finally Mike Babcock has a response.
Yeah, and he knew what he was doing when he came on
he
podcast,
did.
Man.
Well, he knew.
He knew exactly.
Although
he knew
he wanted to go.
People knew the questions were coming, though.
I love the response we're getting from that interview, by the way.
It's great. It's all great. It's all great.
It is. I mean, it's just...
you did good, man. You did really good on that
one.
Well,
no, I just mean, like, it's just... He's such a interesting person, and, like, people have...
He's a lot
like,
funnier than that. He's got more of a personality.
A little bit. But, like, whenever you coach in Toronto and you're that much of a lightning rod and that much of a... what's the word I'm looking for? Just in terms of his personality.
Penis?
That's not the word I was thinking of, Cam. That is not it.
All right.
That is not... But when you... Coaching that you're almost like larger than life. You know, and so people are so interested in hearing from this guy. You almost like, we knew it would be big. I didn't realize it was going to be like that interesting to so many people. So,
but this is going to be even probably more interesting, man, because this is about addiction.
This is about life.
Fucking, this guy went through hell and back, man. And I remember I told you I played. And you just hear good things about this guy, and he went through hell. So this is going to be a good one, Andy.
Oh, I think so, too.
Yeah.
So, Brantt Myres.
Enjoy it, buddies.
And he wrote a book that's out there, too, by the way, called Painkiller. So check that out. And it's perfect because Cam can now read the book, even though you can't. Can you read? Yes or no?
Andy, to be honest with you, look.
You have the book on tape. What's the last book you read?
Oh, my God. I read books all the time.
Dr. Seuss?
No, it's canceled. I read Stephen King, It.
Oh.
Try that book out.
Did you sleep with the lights on that night?
Holy fuck. Actually, when I was on Painkillers hardcore, I read like 50 books in a row because you're so relaxed. And I do it on road trips. I just read. I read every fucking Stephen King book. Salem's Lot, Stephen King, It, The Mist, all these. I could tell you. Want me to break them down for you?
No.
And I need to watch because the books are different than the movie. Wow. So I could tell you the fucking difference. But the point is, that made me so relaxed. So I read a shit ton. But now I just read articles all day. I listen to podcasts and shit all day long, and I read different articles about all kinds. You know what interests me more than anything? Well, you know what doesn't? Like, sports are probably like last on my fucking list of like interests. I like everything else, man.
Except sports.
Except for fucking sports. I love hockey. Don't get me wrong. I love we know everything. Like we dig into hockey. But man, I'm so curious on so much more shit than fucking sports. I don't know why.
You get nightmares?
Castles.
You get nightmares?
And UFOs and history and war.
Do you get scared at night after you read those books?
Fucking right.
Like Ty will just scream in the middle of the night, and he's like awake, but he doesn't even know he's awake, and he's falling right back asleep.
Oh man, I to this day, like I still get kind of weirded out. It's fucking scary.
After reading the book, you need to calm down on
that. Motherfucking Pennywise, a clown, boy. He'll get you.
Yeah, you shouldn't be reading that.
He'll get you.
You shouldn't be reading that.
Sorry.
Okay, let's get to the interview.
Again. It's like 3,000
Brantt
pages.
Myres, man, tells his life story. He wrote a book.
Yep.
And real quick, super tough.
Very tough.
Really
he
tough.
just never had to get his jam on.
Yeah.
He was like fucked up
and
all the time.
He got suspended several times, and he's the only player in NHL history, as far as I know, who got permanently banned from the NHL. I think they have a 4-strike rule, he said. Yeah. And
that's a lot of strikes.
5 times, man. Yeah. So anyway, we really appreciate him coming on.
Best.
He's got to be brave. You got to be brave to tell your story. He does that here on this edition of the Cam and Strick Podcast, brought to you by CarShield and CarShield.com. Cam, tell us about CarShield.
Well, they're great. They're unbelievable. They're local, and you walk in their place.
No, they're not just local.
Yeah, but they have their plant here.
Their headquarters.
Here.
Yeah, but they're everywhere.
And it's so big.
I want all our listeners to know, like, you don't have to be here. You know what I'm saying?
I like how you just put me on the spot like that, because usually when you run down and I fucking back you up on shit. But no, Car Shield's so easy to do, and it covers you on so many different levels, and you could pick where you want to get your car fixed. So, example, I was in Eureka waving bon voyage to everybody at the Mexican joint, and they're like, bye, Cam, we love you. I'm like, I know. Bye, look at Cam. Like, car doesn't start. I'm like, hi, guys. They're like, what a loser he is. They liked me, and then they hated me. But then I got my car fixed, and they liked me again, Andy.
Mm-hmm. And then you get to choose where to take it, who the mechanic is. I know. That's the best part about it. So if your computer goes out, something crazy, you're looking at thousands and thousands of dollars. No, you're not, because you have Car Shield. You have that ultimate protection. It's like you got George Larac, Brian McGrattan, and Brantt Myres, Myhres, all on the same team. Like, you're protected.
Yeah.
You feel good about yourself.
Damn right, baby.
You can say whatever you want. 800-857.
So you're going to bring your name in the mix.
Well,
ruin.
No, remember he told me how tough. He says how tough I am in the interview, actually.
Oh, my God.
800-857-2481. I got to ask you, though. Kyle Clifford, Curtis Gabriel, on the ice, like, kind of chirping each other, kind of going at it before the game. We don't see that happen too often.
I just put a post of me and McGrattan talking in warm-ups. You see that on Instagram? Yeah.
No.
Check that out.
But you guys knew each other, right?
Yeah, but like, we fucking doing it. Let's fucking go.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you angry, like yelling? Like, are you guys laughing?
I'm not angry. I'm jacked up. Like, let's fucking
I think this was more of like a situation where
it's like, hey, we gotta go. Well, I don't need to go yet. Well, let's go anyway. Well, I'm gonna go in front of Husso then.
Well, because
that's
of what
it is. Bennington
did in the previous game.
We talked about this before.
Radio. We didn't talk about it here though.
Oh yeah. I get confused on that.
I know you do. But like, that was interesting. It's good to see a little fireworks before an NHL game.
Healthy, man. That's healthy.
Hey, you know what?
You called a tough guy up. When's that last time that happened?
That'll make the rundown on ESPN. We'll get into that next time. Talk about
next
ESPN.
time we'll talk about that. Yeah,
back into the NHL.
Fucking right, baby.
We called that actually, and it's good to see. We love it.
Yeah,
we love it.
Yeah,
the worldwide leader back into the NHL. All right, keep it handsome, man. Barry Melrose. I may have to send him some like keep it handsome products.
Yeah,
okay?
Give him your fucking beard moisturizer that you don't.
Well, no, I used it. I used it twice today already. As a matter of fact,
you look shiny.
Yeah, do I?
Yeah. You always look fresh, dude. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Well,
because you can't grow anything.
I use that eye stuff that Sean Avery sent me.
Yeah, your eyes look good.
Do they?
I mean, they're not cute, but they look good. They look, but they don't look old. You don't have like crow's feet like I do.
Crow's feet. You don't want that. You won't get that with Keep It Handsome.
No.
Hey, keepithandsome.com. It's a great cause, too, man. We're fighting bullying with our Fight Ugly hoodies. Get the hoodies. Have you not gotten the hoodies? You need to get a hoodie, a Fight Ugly hoodie, and get one of those Fight Ugly Cam and Strick hats. Now available. camandstrick.com or keepithandsome.com. There's a link right there at camandstrick.com that'll take you right to the Keep It Handsome website. Now, get the shampoos, get the conditioners, everything. A portion of the proceeds go back to the Montreal Resource Center, which fights bullying.
Damn right, baby.
Which is huge.
Yep.
Yeah, it's huge. So, again, keepithandsome.com. Get those hats. I want to see pictures of you wearing the hats and wearing the hoodies. We're going to start posting these. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's start doing that. Okay? Of course, Bud Light Seltzer. You got mango. You got lemonade. BudLight.com. Unquestionably good.
I want to see pictures of what mango should look like, that handsome sound batch, and fucking sexy-ass lemonade. And just let me know, who do you think they are?
Yeah.
Everybody's like, Mike Babcock's not mango. That's what they said, not me. And I'm like, okay, get your drift on that. I want to know who is mango. I know who's not mango, and it's everybody I'm looking at right now. Who's mango? Who's that? Is this Sheldon Surrey? Fucking might be. Then who's lemonade?
Pamela Anderson.
Oh, God. Hepatitis A through Z, Pamela Anderson? Oh, yeah.
He's got a new wife, actually. And she's very cute. And she's
not
awesome.
Pamela Anderson.
No, that's the old one, dude.
Yeah, do you even know who
they used to be together back in the day? I'm just saying. All right, Dan Bellman. Would he qualify as mango? Come on now.
I mean, like, I'll pump you up, Dan. I love you.
But like, hey,
their company is.
When I send my wife in there, they treat her like lemonade. I'll tell you that.
That's where it is.
They treat her like
their
lemonade.
company's like fucking mango and lemonade banging each other.
And the sushi is.
Hey, would you stop saying it's so confusing
it's
to people?
So good when you can go in there and they just hook it up.
I just think that people listen to you say that
salmon and avocado.
It's just so dumb. Like, why the fuck would you?
I don't know. That's how nice they are.
Sushi is such a precious item,
and they are precious, and they treat you like you're precious.
This is what happens when you fucking eat grass for a living, like you do. You don't even know what the fuck fits with what. Sushi at a car dealership? Get the fuck out of here. They might got bagels or something.
Oh, with little locks.
Yeah. Fuck, he might have a beer fridge in there.
Although the smoked I heard that kind of any smoked meat, whatever, and smoked fish.
Tell me about smoking meat and fish.
It may create like carcinogens and maybe contribute to cancer. I don't know. I heard something about that.
What doesn't?
I read
what
that.
doesn't? What doesn't contribute to cancer?
Don't.
Like seriously,
yeah.
You can't.
Like smoothies and like trail mix and stuff like
Grass?
that. It probably doesn't. Anyway, Dan Bellman, he's got the Cadillac Buick GMC Cam. And on the other side of the street, he's got the Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, including that pink Jeep, small wheels, 2-door, flames on the side.
Fuck yeah.
We're getting in one of those, man. No doubt about it. So again, Bellman.com, that's 2 N's, not one, BEHLMANN.com. Take your used car in there today. Take it on in. And they'll buy it from you, and you'll drive off, leaving that parking lot, leaving that beautiful... Full tummy. You just had you just got a little snack in you.
Stop.
And you had some flavored water and whatever. Great service, by the way. They treated you the right way.
No doubt.
And you got a new set of wheels. So it sounds like a great day to me.
It is.
Bellman.com. People can check out ultimatehockeyfans.com. We're going to have some cool stuff on this coming up very soon. With our own link that'll give you free shipping. You can check out our Instagram. Brody put something on there again recently. We've got a new video that we're putting out. You can customize your hockey fan for any team you want. Yeah. So if you played college hockey at like Wisconsin or North Dakota, dude, you can have like a North Dakota, Wisconsin ceiling fan, and they're made out of hockey sticks. I think they're cool, man. I think they're really
so cool. They're great for a basement. They're great for a restaurant.
And you want a Washington Capitals, one Montreal Canadiens, Toronto Maple Leafs, whatever.
Your kid's room, your restaurant, your fucking cave, whatever it is. It's so cool. They
made us one for Cam and Strick Podcast.
Yeah, they made it. Andy wanted one for Parkway North High School, and the guy's like, "Go fuck yourself." But he made us like awesome Cam and Strick, and it's really cool. Ty's gonna love that, by the way.
He will.
And I might put that back downstairs in my office. So yeah, man,
so,
awesome stuff. Check it out. He's on NHL Network too, so you'll see it on there.
Oh yeah. And we'll have that link for you in terms of how to order and all that stuff.
And follow us on social media, guys. We have everything down: Twitter, Insta, and Facebook. Yeah. And Andy needs to bump up his Instagram.
So I know. Everybody follow me on Instagram. Yeah. I'm just getting into it. At Real Strick Nasty. Follow me right now. Actually, right now. Follow me on Instagram, and I may send you something.
Yeah,
okay?
I might send you something.
A signed,
besides bad pictures,
like a signed Parkway North media guide or something like that.
Follow us all on social media, guys. You just type the fucking name and it'll pop up.
And at Cam and Strick Pod on Twitter and Instagram, and follow all of us. All right, let's get to the interview. But before we do that, when I drive black tie. Okay,
about that.
You know what's up. Ellie knows what's up. Jared Leto knows what's up.
I wanted to switch our cars out. But it's going to be like raining for the next 4 days, so
4 or 5 days.
I'm waiting. I want something badass.
Because now the nice weather's coming.
Yeah,
we just got through the shit weather, and though it was beautiful last week, now it's starting to rain again.
I know, so I'm just like,
I don't like that.
But if you don't have if you're in that system and it is raining, swap your car out for something with fucking 4-wheel drive or all-wheel drive.
Get a Raptor.
So if you got a Corvette or a Maserati, and you're like, no,
but I mean this to our listeners, you got to hit me up and you got to say, hey, like, fill me in, like, tell me more about this.
Yeah.
Because it really is an unbelievable concept. It's the future of car ownership. This is crazy. You get the app, you just download it, and you can just kind of select your car off that you want off the fleet that you belong to. You just get your membership. Bronze, silver, gold, platinum.
Yeah, baby.
So, again, when I drive black tie. You get what you want. You get it when you want it, man. It's a great concept. I got the Porsche going right now. You can have exotic cars. They got a crazy lineup of cars. Cam likes the economy cars, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. If you like the economy.
I'm so bland and boring, aren't I?
So if you want like a Toyota Corolla or a Camry or something like that, I like Cam.
But they got it all, though, man. Like, fuck that, man.
Oh, actually, he's driving the nice Beamer, man. The X6.
Yeah, I got the X6.
It's pretty sick.
It's cool shit.
I love it. I love it. So, again, you can get the Porsches, you can get the Maseratis, all that type of stuff. You don't think you could ever get in one of those cars? Believe me, you can.
Yep.
Drive black tie. Check it out today. All right, Brantt Myres with 2 T's. Almost named Sonny, but they went with Brantt. We'll tell you all about it. Great story, a success story. Love the fact that we got this guy on the Cam and Strick Podcast.
Hello.
Is this that big fucking lefty?
What's up, brother?
What up? I got Andy Strickland here, too, by the way.
What's up, Brantt? How are you?
Andy, what's shaking?
The leaves around here. It's a rainy fucking day. I'll tell you that today, Brantt.
Where you at?
I'm in Edmonton.
Oh, okay. Can we talk about the weather in Edmonton? Listen, I've been to Edmonton a handful of times. I've never seen the sidewalk. I've never seen the street.
You've never seen a car's color?
No, because it's got ice, permanent ice over the streets. I've never felt cold like it is in Edmonton. Like, what made you settle down there?
Well, you know what? It's funny. So as of the last 5 days, when I woke up in the morning and I opened up the blinds, it was actually sunny. And so now we're going to get into, early spring. But from October 1st until March 1st, it's dark, fucking cold, ice. Like it's depressing. And I only settled down here because my daughter lives down the road.
That'll do it.
And and we share custody. So
hey, okay. How do you spell your name, and why do you spell it that way? It's an amazing spelling. Like I was telling our engineer, hey man, you got to post this, make something to promote that we're having you on. He's like, he couldn't find it because he was spelling it differently. So, all right, let's talk about the last name first, then we'll talk about the first name. Myhres? Like, what's the nationality?
Confuse me more, Brantt.
Buddy, big fucking Viking right there. I'm a fucking Norway boy.
Ooh, yeah, he is.
Yeah. And then Brantt was my old man must have been hammered one day watching. I think he was hammered watching an NFL football game with his buddies, and some dude was named Brantt, but it was only one T. And he's like, "Oh, fucking, what do you think about that name? If I just add an extra T?" So my name came from some football player.
Wow,
that's cool.
From the Edmonton Eskimos.
But I was, but here's
the Argonauts, and then the other Argonauts.
But here's a funny story, you guys. So I was about fucking 2 seconds away from being called Sonny. So my sister's name is Cher.
Ooh.
And
oh, God.
and I was so close to being Sonny Myres.
Well, we're going to call you Sonny from now on. We're just changing your name. Your name officially now has been changed. It's Sonny.
And I'm spelling your last name Meyers.
Yeah, we're changing everything with you. You had no idea what you were walking into. We're changing your name, Brantt. You're now Sonny Myres.
Call me Sonny Myres. That's it. It's easy.
Hey, real quick about your dad, though. Like, was he a big partier? Your mom and dad like big partiers? Did they let you get after it at a young age? Were they strict with you and you kind of like rebelled?
Oh, geez, man. I got a really complicated family upbringing. So my father wasn't in the picture in my life until I was 12. He'd send me a birthday card and a Christmas card and that kind of shit. There was a lot of physical abuse going on with my my stepfather when I was around 5 and 6 and 7 years old. And then my grandparents took me in when I was around, I believe, 8 or something like that. So my grandpa and grandma raised me when I was a kid.
Were they sweet people? Like, were they cool?
Yeah,
did they let you get away with like what?
They were hardworking people. They owned a hardware store in this little town that I grew up in called Grand Center. And they here's the thing, they boozed every night though. So like when they came home from work, they'd pour 2 or 3 rum and cokes, shut her down, get up, do that fucking every day for 35 years. But you didn't want to, they were, hard Ukrainians too. You didn't want to fucking piss them off too much either.
Yeah, because they could snap too, even the grandparents. It's interesting though, because like you look at it, okay, so your biological parents and everything, and then everything you've been through, like, don't you think everything's connected, right? I mean, how you were raised, even though you transitioned to your grandparents at a very young age, you're still impacted and affected by not being with your parents and not having that relationship with them, right?
Yeah, and you know what, you guys, it didn't really hit home till I had a kid. When I was holding Chloe in my arms, and anybody ever till this day even fucking laid a finger on her. I mean, it's fight to the death. And so for me, I couldn't. Once I had that love for a child, I started, especially when I wrote the book, I started going back and thinking how a parent could let somebody beat the shit out of a 5-year-old kid, and then let them do it again and again. So that just goes to show you obviously the mental abuse or torture that my mother was under at that time. And she was just a baby too. I believe she was only, she was 18 when she had me.
Oh, whoa.
Wow.
Whoa.
You know what? I can relate to that, like, in terms of having a baby. I've got a little Chloe, too.
Yeah, I stick up for her, by the way,
because
Andy can't do it.
She's 10 years old. And listen, I didn't have a great upbringing either, man. I mean, I had a lot of adversity you had to overcome. And it's amazing, though, when you have a baby and that first one, it just how it impacts you. I never understand, Brantt, how somebody could grow up with a shitty home life and then have their own kids and then carry that on, pass that on to their kids too, and not learn from how they grew up, you know?
Well, you know, it's another, some reporter asked me a question about this, about fighting and all that kind of stuff when I played the game. And again, when I wrote this thing, it was a real long therapy session, to tell you the truth. And I started to realize that one of the biggest reasons for me that I was protecting guys on the ice, I think, is because I wasn't protected as a kid.
Yeah, man.
And I didn't want my teammates to fucking go through that feeling of not being protected. And I never really thought about it in that sense, but it did make sense to me later on.
So, okay, so he's abusive. Is he drinking every night? And was there a time where you were like, I'm going to kill this motherfucker. I'm going to grab a knife and I'm going to fucking kill him?
Yeah. So, well, you know, I think too, with time, I remember that my brother told me that, and that was his dad, because he was my stepfather, that his name was Brad, and that he had 10 years sober and he was trying to get his life back on track, and et cetera, et cetera. But quite honestly, you guys, once I left that trailer park when I was young and I lived with my grandparents, I didn't see a lot of them.
Okay, so how did hockey come into the picture? And listen, I know you were a tough guy and a fighter and everything, man, but you played in the show. Like, you're a damn good hockey player to get there. So with all the adversity you've been through, and everyone focuses on, you know, the story of addiction and all that, which we'll get into, man, you're a success story at the same time, because your profession as a professional athlete, like, you made it. How did you make it?
I just remember when the physical abuse was going on, that all I wanted to do was just put my hockey bag over my shoulder and walk to the outdoor arena, and just to get out of the house, because it was just a lot of stuff going on. And then I'd escape myself out there. And I just remember falling in love with it, and I couldn't stop. So I'd sort of run myself into the boards to stop myself. And then once I lived with my grandparents, they owned a hardware store. So they had like all the new sticks and skates and gloves and all this stuff. So I always had great equipment, and my grandpa would always drive me to all my practices and stuff. And I think with anything, you guys, you know, is once you start getting good at something, you start building confidence, you enjoy it more. Mm-hmm. And that was the same thing with hockey.
Yeah, no. So they probably fell in love with it too once you started to become competitive. And it's funny how you say they owned a hardware store, and you're like, they had all the gear in there. It's like, I have a hardware store down the road.
That's in Canada.
That's in fucking Canada.
Only in Canada do they have a hockey, equipment section right next to like the 6-panel doors.
Hey, Papa, give me that fucking stick over
there.
Hey,
where's the screwdrivers and the bolts and nuts? Right next to the shin pads and the hockey pants.
That is so they probably fucking loved watching you, man. Especially you started fucking doing it, beating guys up, this, that, and the other.
It's funny because actually, no, they didn't. My grandpa never skated in his life. Again, he was just a really hard worker. But he enjoyed watching me. My father came back into my life when I was 12, and my dad he coached a men's senior hockey team. Very, very brilliant hockey mind. And once we lived together when I was 12, I mean, he was the man that took me literally to the next level, which was, you know, in the summers, I was going to play shinny 5 days a week. And when I played my first year junior in Portland, he moved to Portland to make sure that I was on the right track. And then he moved to Lethbridge. And he fucking invested his whole life into my career.
Were you an angry kid, though? Like, were you fighting off the ice? Like, how did fighting all of a sudden become, like, your ticket to the NHL?
Yeah, so it's funny because I wasn't a mean guy, but I did get invited to the Portland Winterhawks camp when I was 15 years old. And I think I told Janner this, that there was a backup goalie that was on the bench, and every time I skated by, he called me a fucking pussy because I had these white gloves on. And at the end of the scrimmage, he basically asked me if I wanted to go, and I didn't even really know what that meant, but he took his gloves and his blocker and he skated to center ice. So there I am, squaring off with no helmet as a 15-year-old with a goalie for my first fight. And I found out that I could throw. I was a left-hander at that point, and I did really well in the fight. And as I'm skating off to go to the room, there's all these people there, and I thought they were just going to pat me on the back for a good fight. Well, this guy walks up to me and just fucking drops me in my gear, and he's on top of me, pounding away. Well, I found out that was the Brothers goalie that was watching the scrimmage, or the goalie's brother. I'm sorry. And then, so my dad and his dad got at it in the stands, and that was literally my first introduction to the Western Hockey League.
Wow, welcome, kid.
Wait, your dad's fighting in the stands?
Yeah, baby.
Listen, here in St. Louis, the moms fight.
Yeah,
the dads don't fight. The moms fight, and they've got fur coats on too, Brantt.
Pathetic. Dude, so when you knew that you could throw down the pipe with that left, you're like, oh, I got something special. And when you did that goalie, did you catch him with one? He's like, oh shit, what do I do? What do I do? You know, when the first time you fight a lefty, you're like, oh, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, well, you also realize when you're a lefty that they're righties, so it's fucking bomb for bomb.
Yeah.
There's really no covering up at that point. You know, the way guys fight now, they turn their head, they throw a bomb, but there's a visor there. They get their fucking knuckles caught up. I mean, the helmets were off back then as little kids, you know, so. It was, and then now you're 16 and you make the team, and you're fighting guys that are 19 and 20. I mean, it was insane back then.
The Cam and Strick Podcast is brought to you by CarShield. You know, nothing more frustrating, Cam, than when that engine light comes on, and you know right off the bat you're going to have to spend thousands of dollars to repair your vehicle. Call 800-857-2481. Mention the promo code CAM. Or visit carshield.com and use the code CAM to save 10%. Yeah. That's carshield.com. A deductible may apply. Save yourself money. Sign up and get your coverage now with carshield.com. Now back to the interview.
I know.
All right, listen, when did the partying and the drugs get out of control? And was it the alcohol? Was it the drugs? Like, what specific drug? Like, was there like a progression there?
I just remember smelling my grandparents' rum and coke after work when I was maybe 12, 13, 14, and I just remember thinking how disgusting it smelled. And it fucking became my favorite cocktail when I was 16, 17. And I just fell in love. It was a new love. And then when I was 20, my buddy grabbed me in a bar and said, get in the bathroom. So I go in there, and he rolls up this bill, and he chops up this white stuff, and he goes, all right, snort that back. And I'm like, what is it? He goes, it doesn't matter. So I snort it back. I fucking go wash my hands, right? I'm looking at myself in the mirror, and as soon as the door opens and the music is cranked, I'm walking out, and I literally feel like John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever. Mm-hmm. Like, it just gave me that extra step. And it was a love affair that I loved at that time more than anything, more than hockey, more than girlfriends, more than money. Didn't matter. And that carried with me all the way until obviously I got sober 13 years ago.
Yeah, man. So you start drinking, and then you get one guy, or you dabble in something else, and you get that high for the first time, and you cruise out and you have a good night. You're like, well, I'm doing that again. Again. And then you're like, I'm drinking all night, and you're wasting. You're like, I need some of that white stuff so I can stay awake. So then it's just like a never-ending story, man. And I got to tell you, there wasn't a lot of times in my life after that where I was just drunk. I mean, because anybody that's done cocaine, you could be loaded and you do a big rail and you're fucking sober within, 5 minutes. And so I was never really like wasted any. I'd be high, but I wasn't wasted drunk, a lot. Well, you got to communicate with people. I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah. Hey, how rampant was alcohol and drug abuse going on? Like when you first came into the league, we're talking early 90s.
Yeah.
And did it start to cross over, Brantt? Like where you're showing up to the rink either high or showing up to the rink drunk, and all of a sudden people are noticing, they're questioning you, you're getting defensive. Like, did it start becoming, get to that level?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it started in junior. They sent me away for a week because of my drinking at 17. And then in Tampa, Phil Esposito had the talk with me about they knew what was going on. So they send me to Edmonton. Edmonton fucking knows what's going on. They ship me to Philly. Bobby Clark tells me that if you don't stop drinking, we're going to release you. They release me. I go to rehab. And then the rehab, I spent 90 days in rehab, my first one. And the day I get out of rehab, I buy a fucking bag of cocaine to drive back from LA to Edmonton because it's a 4-day trip.
Oh God!
And then I get to Edmonton, and San Jose offers me my first ever one-way contract for like $1.3 million or something like that. But the only requirement is they were sending in a urine tester that day. Well, urine tester shows up. I pissed dirty for coke. I got to go back to rehab another 90 days. I mean, it just didn't end.
Hey, how horrible is that driving all yacked up in the mountains and you're fucking like full, you're so jittery, like you can't even fucking concentrate, man.
Buddy, I was so high when we were going back. I was driving the wrong way on the Golden Gate Bridge.
Oh my God.
I literally didn't know what fucking state I was in at that point. And, we obviously made it home, but, yeah, it was a rough trip.
Were you like, the cops are behind me? The cops are behind me. Oh my God, there's helicopters here. It's like that, you just fucking paranoia out the wazoo, man. Were you just taking like, how would you even do it when you're driving? You just fucking taking little key bumps, like boom, boom, boom.
Oh, no. We had those old CD cases back then when we were listening to the CDs, right? Yeah. So we'd fill those up, and then, we'd pull over because we were always drinking too. So we'd pull over at the local gas stations and grab a 6-pack of cold beer, chop up a line, and then get on the road again.
All right, help me understand this. Like, why doesn't rehab work? Like, when you go to rehab and then you get out of rehab, I mean, you said 90 days. Like, that's a long time.
It's a long time.
How come rehab doesn't necessarily always work?
Well, so that was my second suspension, which was another 90 days. They had a 4-strike rule in the NHL. Then the third time I got busted for a dirty coke test, that was a 6-month suspension without pay. And then I had another dirty coke test. They put me in stage 4. That one was a full year suspension. So I was in rehab for a year. And then the 5th rehab was in 2008, and I was already retired 2 years, and I got arrested one night. A couple cops were on me. And my sister was crying and all this bad stuff. The tables were smashed in the house, and the knife was brought out, and fuck, it was ugly. And I don't remember any of it, but that's the scary part. I blocked out at 7 because my coke dealer didn't show up for the first time in 2 years. And so I blocked out at 7, woke up handcuffed at 2:30. And when I went to treatment that 5th time, there was no more doctors calling. There was no more teammates calling. I was completely broke. I was living on a friend's couch, driving my dad's old Jeep. And I went in there and I just got on my knees. I said a little prayer. I said, I need some fucking help here. I said, I prayed before to get me out of situations. I said, but I'm not really praying. This isn't that type of prayer. I said, I either need this obsession to drink and do drugs to be lifted, or I'm going to fucking kill myself. And within 5 minutes, I had this feeling come over me that I've never had before. And it was a feeling of saying, you're finally done. It's over. There's no more fighting. And I got on a plane the next day, the league paid, and I went to treatment for 8 months.
Oh God.
Listen, and I want to get into some of those stories you talked about, but I'm curious. Like, you're going to test dirty, as you put it. Like, the emotions of waiting for the test results, what are those like? And then when you find out you're suspended and you're going back to rehab, are you breaking down?
Yeah.
Are you emotional? Is it like, I can't do this again? Like, when you find out that you tested negative, or positive, however that works. What is your reaction? Are you breaking down? Are you emotional?
Well, the second time when I got back, I actually thought I was going to pass the test, because I saw in some type of newspaper article that if you pour Visine over your finger and you piss over it, that it dilutes the urine. And so when they told me that the tester was coming, I ran down to the drugstore. I had the fucking Visine in my pocket. I come up, and he was a good one. He goes, okay, take your left hand. He goes, pull your pants down, take your left hand, pull it above your head, and grab your right hand and grab your shirt and pull it above your head. So I was fucked.
Yeah, dude, he's looking at you the whole time.
Yeah, I can't grab the Visine at that point.
Wow.
So, but when I went back to treatment, at that age, at 24, 25, 26, I had so much anger because I felt like the league was, basically saying you could never drink again. And then what that eliminated to for me was you can never have fun again.
Yeah.
So it was like, if I can't drink, well, I don't want to golf. I don't want to fucking camp. I don't want to go on a boat. I don't want to go on a trip, because I can't associate my life without alcohol. So it wasn't until I really dug deep and found out that in sobriety, I could actually not only enjoy those things, but thrive in them and have a great time and wake up feeling great. But man, it took a lot of years and turmoil to get there.
Well, for one, you got to do it for yourself. That's just like
Sure.
the first and foremost. But then you realize that you can get a euphoric high without taking anything. And you're like, oh, I'm happy all fucking day. I don't need to drink 6 beers to get my groove. I'm happy all fucking day. I mean, it's so different. Hey, real quick, like, explain people that aren't addicts and aren't reliant on fucking drug dealers coming to your house. Describe the feeling when you're coming off of coke, painkillers, whatever the fuck it is, maybe a mixture of both, and you're waiting for that motherfucker to show up, and he's late, and he ain't coming, and you're sitting there twiddling your thumb. Just describe that for everybody.
Oh, well, there were so many mornings where I was smoking butts out of the cigarette thing.
Oh, God.
Because the liquor store didn't open yet, and my coke dealer wasn't calling me back. And so I'd have to order a cab, because they opened at 10 o'clock here. So I'd order a cab at, 9:55, get in a cab, go get a bottle of vodka or a bottle of whiskey. And because I was vibrating so bad and sweating so bad at that point that I needed the alcohol to come down. Mm-hmm. And so I'd drink, half a bottle or whatever it was, 12 beers, so that my body could finally go shut her down. And but here's the fucked up part, is that I'd be sitting in bed, crying or doing whatever I'm doing, saying, please, I'm never going to do this again, ever. And in 3-4 days, I'm back at it again. So that's the power of the addiction.
It's so weird, because it's like you're in that weird state where you're counting the ceiling fan, you're cold, you're hot, you're fucking pissing out of your ass. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. And you're like, I'm never doing this again. I'm thinking my mom and dad never. And all of a sudden the fucking dealer calls you and you're like, oh, get over here. And then, it's just like, boom.
Yeah. And it's quite honestly though, you guys, it's probably when you look at all of the temptations or addictions or however you want to phrase it out there, whether it's food, people that eat themselves to a fucking oblivion at 10 o'clock at night and say, I'm done, I'm going on a diet. And the next thing you know, they're at McDonald's at fucking 7 a.m. I mean, or the guy gambling, well, he lost his car, he's never going to lose his house. Well, he loses his house the next week. Mm-hmm. So you can say that about many things in life, but with the drugs and alcohol, for some reason, there's this terrible stigma that people look down upon, that they think it's a willpower issue. Believe me, I thought I was a pretty fucking strong guy. This wasn't a willpower issue, because it beat me every time.
Me too, man.
Hey, Brantt, did any teammates, I mean, you've mentioned Daryl Sutter, a coach, but general managers, owners, teammates show like legitimate compassion for you? Like would follow up with you in rehab, make sure you're okay, check on you when you got out of rehab. Like who were some of those guys who did that for you? Well,
I remember Doug Wilson from the Sharks. I just remember there was a note on my door in rehab saying, Mr. Wilson is here. And I'm, really? Anyways, Doug flew in and he spent a day with me, and we went down to the beach and had a nice long talk. And that was one guy that really stuck out of my mind. There were guys in San Jose that I was pretty close with, like Owen Nolan and Dave Lowry, who I looked up to, and they really honestly cared about me. When I got to Philly, there were other guys like Paul Coffey and even Big E, like Big E would say to me, Knuckles, it's time that you might want to take a break. So we'd hang out on the road, and he'd try and keep a close eye on me. But again, man, at the end of the day, I was a 24-year-old NHL hockey player that had the ego, the size of fucking Manhattan that just couldn't stop.
Listen, help me understand this, and Cam can kind of chime in with this too. All right, so you're partying with guys, teammates, and they're doing the same thing you're doing, Brantt. But for you can't control it. Like, it's impacting you or it's affecting you differently. Like, you're getting tested. They may not be getting tested. Was it ever like, well, this guy's doing it also, but he's okay and he's getting through it, yet I'm the one who's going to rehab? Like, did those type of thoughts ever creep through your mind?
Well, that was part of the anger that I kept comparing myself to everybody, but at the end of the day, let's say there was a guy on my team that liked to do a little bit of blow. Well, he'd be the guy that would do, I don't know, half a line, maybe a line, fucking go home at 11:30. Well, there's me,
gangster,
snorting my last one at fucking 8:30, getting in my car to go to the rink, and then puking in the bathroom because I'm so sick, and then going on the ice and saying I've got a bad back and I pulled my back so I can't practice. So I mean, they weren't doing that, but I was. So at some point I had to go, okay, well, there's some people that can do drugs recreational. I can't. I'm not one of those guys.
8:30 in the morning, you're saying.
No, and Andy, listen to me. Everybody's like, well, no wonder you fought guys because you're doing coke. Wait, time out. Coke lasts about 10 to 15 fucking minutes, and that's good coke, okay? Just so you fucking know. So if you're banging it out all fucking night and you get up at 8:30 in the morning, you are the most miserable motherfucker in the world, and you're jittery and you're yellow and dehydrated. It's like having, so you probably, and you're not social, and you probably walked in that locker room and everybody's like, hey, and you're just like, I hate everything, kill me now.
Buddy, yeah, exactly. I couldn't have said it any better, honestly. It's so true.
Hey, let's talk about the new Bud Light Seltzer.
Oh, yeah.
It's an easy-drinking, hard seltzer that comes in 4 delicious fruit flavors. Black cherry, strawberry, lemon lime, and Cam's favorite, mango. With only 100 calories, 5% alcohol, and less than a gram of sugar, you might as well have a few tonight or this weekend. Go to BudLight.com to buy Bud Light Seltzer online. Must be 21 years of age or older. Bud Light Seltzer. Unquestionably good.
Yeah.
Now, back to the interview.
So when did you, though, okay, so and this is a timeline, too, when you're an addict. You start drinking, that starts everything. I mean, smoking, everybody says smoking weed, what the fuck ever. You start drinking, that's what gets you doing stupid shit. Now you're into fucking coke. Now you like the uppers. You like to get high. But once you're high, you got to crash. So now you dip into the motherfucking monsters, the painkillers, and now you're dabbling both. When did that start coming into play?
You know what? Honestly, I thank God that my dealers didn't give me what I asked for. For years, they'd show up, and I go, man, you guys got any, like, Xannies, or you got any fucking Valiums or anything, or sleeping pills? They're like, no. Never did I ever get any pills. And if they did, my heart wouldn't have lasted. There's no way that I would have been able to get out of that. So there were times where I did some pills and stuff, but pills weren't really my thing. Like, I could take pills, like, what I'd never do another one again in my life, wouldn't bother me. I'll smoke a joint, never touch weed again. You pull out a fucking glass of Jack with a line of blow in front of me, that's a different story.
Hey, what's the most money that you were ever making during your career, like as a player? Like, what's the most money you were bringing in, and how much were you spending on your addiction?
It's probably all sort of relative, right? The most money I ever made was $650 with San Jose. And, you know, a typical night would be, I guess, maybe a couple 8 balls. So you're at around maybe 500. The booze at the bar, so the tab's $1,000. Maybe you get a couple girls after. That's another 6. I don't know, a couple grand a night.
Well, the girl thing, were you paying for broads, or is it like you're just paying for them to fucking come over, you know?
Yeah, well, you know, the strippers were great because you'd show up at around 11 and just say, how much money are you going to make until 1? And they'd say, I don't know, 300-400. I'd say, okay, well, here's 400. Tell the guy you're leaving, let's go party.
Yeah.
And that's usually how it went.
Did you tell her to shower first? Because she's been grinding all night. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Hey, but when did it get with the blow, though? Were you at... Because after a point, you do so much of it. It's a social drug at the beginning. But then it's not, right? Then it's not. And then you're like, I'm going to lock myself in a fucking room and just fucking do this and get weird. And then, I mean, am I wrong on that, dude?
No.
Oh, God.
Hey, but you know, Brantt, listen, and you wrote this book, and the reason why it gets a lot of people's attention, too, is because I think you're the only player in the history of the game that's been banned from hockey.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so you get banned from the game. Did you see that coming? Did you know you had one more strike left? And when you find out you can't play hockey, and you reflect on the little kid that's putting his hockey bag over his shoulder, skating on his own, doing all that, like this is your life, and now that's taken away from you.
Yeah.
Where do you go from there?
Yeah, I remember I was the only player to make it back from stage 4, which was a full year suspension, and then I had to get reinstated by Gary Bettman for the second time. And there is no stage 5. So when after that fight with Larocque, I got sent down, my face was smashed up. I couldn't fight anymore and couldn't really play anymore. Anyways, I relapsed again, and I even went harder than I did before. And I was done. That was it. My chances were over. And I just remember going to the only place I could play was in England. Yeah. And I got off the plane, and I was drunk for about, I think, 22 days in a row. And finally, they even called me in and said, we're done. You're going back to Canada. So I was sitting there with grade 9 education. Again, I think I counted my money. I think I had a little over $300 left in this little fucking box that I had. And, you know, I was living with some people that enjoyed doing what I like to do. And it got really, really, really dark. But part of the book, you guys, is that this story has in my opinion, an ending that wasn't tragic. And I think we need to focus on that, is that no matter how far down the scale you have gone, and believe me, I went down really far, is that you need to grab the fucking rope and you need to start to pull and pull and pull and have faith that things can get better. And that's what happened for me. And my life today in sobriety is 10 times better than when I played in the NHL.
Dude, you're up and down in the NHL, man. Like, when you deal with that shit, everybody thinks that you're just, but you're not even thinking about the NHL. You're thinking about everything but that. You're thinking, where's my next high? Where's my next fix? Mm-hmm. So you're drinking all the time. How are you as a drunk? Because a lot of people could drink 25 days in a row and you don't even know it. And they just know, and they could get through their day. But were you sloppy? Were you mean?
Well, I really, really liked the thrill of, like any young guy chasing women. I mean, that was really my whole point behind drinking, was that it could make me talk to any girl in the bar, start going and dancing and laughing and that kind of stuff. And I didn't know how to do that sober. I didn't even know that I didn't know that there were sober girls. I didn't know any of that. So for me, I wasn't necessarily, listen, I had my little gang that I hung around with, right? So if anybody fucked with a couple of my buddies that were in the gang, well, then it's jack it off and it's go time. But other than that, if nobody fucked around and left us alone, then I just was trying to have a good time.
You mentioned Gary Bettman. Did you have like one-on-one meetings with him? Like, how was the league with you? And like, now that you've, written this book, you're getting a lot of attention, people celebrating your sobriety and everything. Have you heard from the league? Like, do you talk to the NHL and are they behind you?
Yeah, you know what? I have not spoken to any of them. I know that with Mr. Bettman, I had to write a letter on stage 3 and 4 to get reinstatement. And, I haven't spoken to any of them. Obviously the league and the PA saved my life. They paid for that 5th rehab. And not only that, they gave me $1,200 a month for emergency assistance to help pay with child support and a car payment when I got out of rehab. And then they paid $9,000 for me to go back to school to get my certificate in substance abuse. I mean, so I owe the league and the PA my life.
Wow. Okay, cool. So, well, there's our suspensions right there, right? And that goes directly.
Yeah.
So Tommy Wilson, myself, a bunch of guys, that's where it goes, just in case anybody's wondering.
Yep.
Let me ask you about the doctors.
Yeah, what do they call it? The Players Relief Fund? Players Relief Assist Fund, whatever they call it.
I fucking donated to it.
Well,
I know, big time. Mm-hmm. So now I feel great about it. But in the American League, you don't know where the fuck it's going. Anyway, the point is, let me ask you this, though. The doctors, Dr. Lewis, Shaw, I know you just brought them up. I had to go through them my last year. I remember just staring at my hair's falling out. I'm going through this different shit. I'm on that fucking Suboxone. But they were all over me. But Dr. Shaw was great. And I could actually talk to him. Now, I didn't want to bring this up, but Dr. Lewis kind of wasn't. And it's not just me saying that. My wife said it. And he just didn't treat me great. So how was the connection with the doctors when you're going through all this stuff?
It's funny you asked. I actually got a hold of them, I believe, a week before the book was released. I said, listen, I'm going to warn you guys, in the first 150 pages, I hate your fucking guts. But as the pages go on after 150 or 175, I start to realize that really all you guys are doing was you were trying to help me. And you actually did care about Brantt. And I thank you for that, because it took, a lot of fuck yous to them and why are you taking this away and blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, Brian, Dave, and Dan Cronin, yeah. They were really just trying to help me as a human, try to get my life back on track. And it wasn't until the end that I accepted it that I realized that.
First off, you sound like Paul Myres. Has anyone ever told you sound like Paul Myres?
Are you looking at me?
Talk? Are you Paul Myres talking to us?
No, he's Brantt Myres.
I've never heard.
You sound like Paul. Hey, you know what? But I was reading this. I think maybe I saw it in a previous interview you did. But, because you just shared that you had $300 in your pocket. You're staying on your friend's couch. But then you said, hey, you didn't write this book. It's not about the money. You're okay financially. You have plenty of money. So how did you make your money back, and how are you okay financially?
Yeah. So I stayed sober. Well, obviously I stayed sober out of rehab, and in 2011, I think, or 10, I started a company in Calgary, and that was going great and just amazing. I was saving money, putting money away, and then I got a call from Dean Lombardi in Los Angeles to work with the team as a sober coach. So I worked in LA for 3 years, and you know what, guys, it's amazing when you're not spending $2,000 a night, how much, money you can look at your bank and save. And, I don't owe any money on vehicles or houses or nothing. They're all paid for. And for me to go from living on a couch at $300 in my name, driving my dad's old Jeep to where I am today, that's just a testament of staying sober. Because if I don't stay sober, I see how bad things can get. So hopefully that's another message to those out there as well that are suffering.
Time to talk about our boy Dan Bellman. Ooh. Bellman.com. That's with 2 N's, not one. BEHLMANN.com. Hey, check out the new inventory. Check out the pre-owned vehicles. You looking for a Chrysler, a Dodge, a Jeep, or Ram? How about a Cadillac or a Buick GMC? All in Troy, Missouri. Get your new wheels in time for the winter. Now back to the interview. All right, so Dean Lombardi calls you, and you had the previous relationship with Daryl Sutter, right? So okay, so you go work for the Kings. Like, what are they having you do? Are you moving to L.A.? Is that a full-time job? Like, did it pay you well?
Yeah, so the pay was great, and I had no expenses in my contract. So the Kings would pay for my flights, they paid for my hotel, and they paid for my rental car. And my deal was I'd spend 20 days with the big club. So wherever they went, if we went on the road, I'd go on the road. And then I got to fly home for 8 or 9 days a month. And then when I did that, I'd get my daughter, Chloe, and she'd stay with me for 9 days. And then I'd get on a bird. And if they were in Montreal, I'd fly to Montreal, and then I'd spend 20 days. So I did that every month for 3 years.
Okay, so explain to people, and then, look, man, I talk about my shit all the time, and I get messages all over the place, and so we have a lot of listeners that's gone through shit. So explain to them, when you do go to rehab, you're fucking coming down off all your shit, you're yellow, you're sweaty, you're pissing out of your ass. We've talked about this before. I shouldn't bring it up again, but you do. And you get to rehab. Are you like, I hate everybody in here? Or is it like, fuck, there's some good-looking girls in here. This is kind of fine. And then how long does it take for you to be normal? Is it 2, 3, 4 days?
Well, I write about all this, about my experiences in my first AA meeting in Malibu in L.A., and they told me I had to stand up and raise my hand and say, I'm Brantt from Canada, and I'm an alcoholic. And as soon as I said the word alcoholic, I just fucking cringed. Because I never wanted to be associated as an alcoholic per se. But again, it's the headspace that you're going in with, and if your door is cracked open just a little bit of willingness to really change, and you get into your rehab facility and you listen to your therapist and you do the work that you have to do on yourself, you have a chance. If you go in, and I know some guys that have went in, and basically there is no willingness. They still have their finger pointed at the world, like the world's fucking them over. Mm-hmm. Well, at some point, you got to take responsibility for yourself and your own actions in your life and stop pointing the fucking finger at everybody else.
Can I ask you about the situation when you got arrested? Like, was that rock bottom for you? And like you mentioned your sister, you mentioned a knife. Like, what went down in that particular situation?
Well, that was a tough night for me. I think it was 2 years boiling up of shame and embarrassment and what my life turned into after playing in the National Hockey League. I just remember going to the freezer. They had these little airplane bottles of whiskey, I think. And the kids were upstairs playing, and that, from what my sister told me, and she took pictures of what I did to the house. So I blacked out at around 7. I had her by her throat, over the sink, and the kids went upstairs and were hiding in the closet. And then I grabbed the knife out and I had it pointed at my stomach, and I said I should just do it or something like that. Like, my life sucks, blah, blah, blah. I'm fucking done. But the only thing that I remember is I was in the snow with a cop. He had his knee on my neck, and I had my hands handcuffed. And then I looked back at my sister, and she was screaming in the doorway. And I just said, "What happened?" And they said, "Well, she doesn't want to charge you. She just wants to take you home and put you to bed." And they took the handcuffs off, and I went home that night, pissed the bed. I was fucking hammered.
Oh, God.
I couldn't even move. And I woke up and I got on my knees, and that was the first time, like I said, where I really said a prayer, and where I needed some help here. And the league somehow heard about what happened. And then Dan Cronin called me the next day and said, "Are you committed on going for long term?" And I said, "Well, what does that look like, Dan?" I said, "I'm having a baby being born here in fucking 5 days." And he just said, "Brantt, the old saying, what I've repeated, if you don't get on that plane, she won't have a father." And so I did. And I didn't see Chloe until she was around 8.5 months old. And it was tough, man. It was a tough road.
What do you tell her now, talking about Chloe? Because she's old enough. She's 13, right? So I'm just doing the math, right? You've been sober for 13 years. What do you tell her about who her dad was versus who her dad is now? And I'm curious, I mean, you're still proud about what you accomplished as a hockey player? You were an NHL player, even though that was part of your prior life, right?
Sure. Yeah, I had a long talk with her about a year ago as I was writing the book. And I just said, honey, I said, you know, what you're going to read in the first 150 pages, if you decide to ever read it one day, it's not who Daddy is today, and it's not the Daddy that you know. You know, Daddy got sober when you were born. I had, I think, 6 days clean at that point, so you've never seen me drunk. And you know, the last half of the book is about when I first met you, and you know, the look that you gave me when I pulled the blanket off your face, and all the good stuff, honey. But there are some things about your dad that you're going to read about that you may not be too proud of. But I think that you know me well enough that you're proud today for sure.
Yeah, man, that's actually perfect. You know, and she's going to realize it, and you know, it just all worked out for the best when it did. It seems terrible at the time, but let me ask you: do you think about coke? Like, does it come up? Like, does it still sit in the back of your head? Because I'll tell you, because we talked the other night, and I told you, man, I don't even think about painkillers anymore. I don't even fucking think about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what, you guys? It's not necessarily the cocaine that I think about. If anything, I miss alcohol a lot. I love the way it made me feel. I love the routine of getting the bottle and putting the ice in the glass, lighting up a cigarette, and putting some music on. And so that'll never ever go away. But see, I've got enough time invested now to know that that's not the nice guy that's on my shoulder, and that's the guy that's trying to bury me and take away every fucking thing that I've worked so hard for in my sobriety. And he'll always be there. But if I don't do things daily for my recovery, that guy starts to get a little louder. Yep. And a little louder and a little louder. So that's why for 13 years, there's certain things that I've never missed.
Brantt, when you come out and you tell your story and you write your book, like whose idea was it, first off, for you to write your book? And does it make you feel good? Is there ever any like embarrassment? Like how do you get over that part?
Yeah, the book actually, you guys, it never started out as that. It was a proposal for the National Hockey League when I was in my 5th treatment center, because I knew that a program like that I could give back to the players so they didn't have to go through what I went through. And then as a journal, I started writing about basically when I was a child and the physical abuse that I went through and the mental abuse that I went through with my mother and stuff, being abandoned and by your parents, basically, sort of. And then I just kept writing, and I did that for a couple years. I got hired by the Kings, so I took it and I never touched it again. I just put it away. And then when the job ended in L.A., Penguin Random House, we talked, and they said, "Well, are you interested in finishing your story?" And I said, "Sure." And quite honestly, I didn't know what I was doing other than I was honest, and I was writing down exactly what happened in my life. And you know, as far as the release of the book goes, the last 3 weeks, it looks like a lot of people can relate to that.
Man, there's a lot of people talking about it. All the old tough guys, Domi. Man, I remember hearing about you back in the day, but from Robbie Skurlak. And I remember, I don't think I fought you, but I remember in warm-ups or something, and Skurly's like, "That's my boy over there. He'd watch out. We're going to go him. He's a big lefty, but fucking great guy." And you were cruising around. You had a fucking sick-ass flow. You had your barely any shoulder pads on, and your jersey.
He had the frosted tips.
Sick. His jersey went all the way down, so you can see his chest hair. Okay. And I'm like, this dude, fuck this shit. And you're a lefty. Fuck you. Skurly loves you, by the way. Skurly loves you, by the way.
Skurly is just, I love that man.
Man, dude. He's awesome.
He's the best. Yeah.
Yeah, he helped me out when I was young, dude. Like, he took me under his wing and shit, and just a good guy, man. So I remember, talking to a bunch of people about that. But who would you grow up with? Like, who'd you play with? Who were your friends growing up? Was there any guys in the NHL that you kind of grew up with?
The one guy, literally, that I still am. Well, I'm very close with today is Sheldon Surrey. He grew up not too far from me, and I was a couple years older than Shelley, but we just had a bond from the first time we met as kids, and we've sort of kept that, especially the last few years for sure. And then I'm trying to think if there's anybody else I grew up with that made it around my area. No, not really. There wasn't a lot of guys.
Let me ask you about Surrey.
If you're hanging out with Surrey,
it doesn't matter.
What do you need strippers for?
You don't need shit.
I mean, you just take him with you.
Tell
and
me
the girls come.
Hey, we had him on the podcast, by the way. Tell me about walking into a bar with that motherfucker.
Well, I have, and I did in New York one time, and they called him Big Sexy for a reason, right? I mean. God. How do you get the full package like Sheldon? I mean, but I got to tell you guys, like I haven't listened to your episode with him, but I'm a lot more prouder of what Sheldon's done in his life the last few years than how fucking hard a slap shot was in the NHL. I'll tell you that.
Or how beautiful his hair is and shit. Like, okay, never mind with that. No, he's a great guy, but he got dealt with the painkiller shit, man. Like he was 50 at a time, shoving him down his throat.
Did he share that on the?
Fuck yeah! What is, dude? What do we look like?
I mean,
here?
on the golf course,
Are you kidding?
just putting piles in his mouth at
50
once.
at a time.
No, he was really open. Hey, like I'm curious though, like why did your job with the Kings end? Was it because Dean Lombardi left? And where are you at now? Do you want to work with another team? Are you trying to get back in the NHL with a team? Like, are you trying to do that? What's going on with that?
Yeah, so the thing with the Kings, when Lombardi and Sutter both got gassed, I still had a year left on my deal, but I knew that Rob Blake had a different vision for that team, and that's usually when most new GMs take over, I think, and that was fine. I spent 3 great years there, and they were amazing people to work with. Nothing but great things to say. As far as a job goes with another NHL club, you know what, you guys, I'm not sure how that's going to roll out. I mean, I got hired back in 2015, so we're talking 6 years, and there's still only one guy in the NHL that's doing that role, which is Brian McGrath in Calgary.
Yeah. Had him on.
Calgary. Yeah. So I don't know if this, if we can somehow work out something like the NFL has had for years, which is a player engagement role, and where the NFL or the PA get together and talk about structuring something like that. Because I honestly. And I'm not just saying that, again, this isn't about money or I need a job or anything, but I don't see a downside to organizations having that extra support for somebody that is struggling with painkillers or booze or whatever it may be.
Oh, you're absolutely right. I don't understand why. I don't get that. Because painkillers, look, the alcohol is always going to be there. You still get drug tests and stuff like that. But when you get injured, you're taking painkillers. That's how I got into it, man. I was sitting there at 21 years old. I had 90 of those yellow fucking nanners, and I didn't have to go to the rink for 3 fucking months, and I sat there and played video games and ate them like Skittles. Let me ask you this real quick. So when you get up and you're doing your thing, and all of a sudden something happens and it's triggering you, and you're like, fuck, I want some booze. And you mention that you do something to get that out of there. What is it? Push-ups? You fucking run? You make a phone call? What do you do?
Yeah, so what I've done, and it may sound... I don't know. I don't care how it sounds, but I get on my knees and I say a prayer and I just say thank you for another morning of waking up clean and sober, and please help me with the strength to continue this today. I make my bed, which I've done every day since my last rehab, so I've never missed a day. And making my bed, making sure my room's clean, it just gets my day started off well. And then my training. So. When I work out, I push it hard and I go hard. And I find for me that the endorphins that I get when I'm done running stairs or, a heavy weight day in the gym or whatever it may be, or a long hike, that I feel amazing. And so for me, that's been my sort of remedy over the last 13 years.
Real quick, Andy, sorry, I'm not going to cut you off, but just so you guys know, if you're in addiction, I'm talking to the fans here, like what he's describing, that natural high, is like when you're fucking cruising around and doing a fat gangster off that CD case. But it lasts. But it doesn't last for 15 fucking minutes and all of a sudden you're miserable again. That endorphins last for a long time.
Especially if you can get an early morning workout.
Yeah. Because
then my whole day, my head's clear. I feel great about myself. I'm just happier. If I don't work out for 2 or 3 days, I'm fucking miserable.
I know, man.
Like,
I know.
It is. And thank God for that. Thank God for that, you know?
Are you ever in a situation where you're with your buddies or people, or they're partying, they want to have a good time? You still got to have a life. Like, how do you control that?
Oh yeah, I have a blast, man. But it took me a while, you guys. Like when I got out of treatment, I didn't go into a bar or a lounge for a year. I didn't want to fuck with it. I went to an AA meeting every day for 365 days. I would walk my ass to the fucking church because I didn't want to go back to what I was in for so long. I was so scared of going back and relapsing. Once I got my base, then when I'd go to a bar, I'd go with a sober friend. When I went to Vegas for my birthday party, I had 6 animals that were fucking hanging off the ceilings.
Oh, God.
And I'd go grab my pack of smokes and a Red Bull, and I'd sit there and laugh with the boys and have a great time. But at around 1 o'clock, I say I'm going to the bathroom, and I go back to my hotel room.
Yep. Don't even tell them. Houdini the motherfucker.
I don't even tell them. I don't
Yep.
even tell them. I just go. And I wake up at around 6:30 in the morning, go get a Starbucks coffee, I go hit the gym, I have a fucking massage. Well, these guys are still either up or sleeping.
And you feel 20,000 times better than they do whenever you see them in the morning too, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey, I want people to get the book. So I want you to be able to tell people
we're pumping you up
where they can get it and all that type of stuff. But how's the book doing? Like, are you making money off the book? I mean, I know you're not all about the money.
We want you
to
make money.
Are you making money off it?
Man.
How's it selling? I mean, is it? I'm sure. Is it crushing it in Canada versus the States? Like, tell us.
You know what, you guys, as far as money goes, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I have my contract. I get, whatever people make on books. But as far as sales go, here in Canada, it hit number 1 in Canada for nonfiction, which, I mean, Jesus, who would have ever thought, grade 9 education guy, never written anything. But that just goes to show you that society is relating with the honesty about what addiction can do to families and people that you love. So the sales here in Canada are good. I don't know what they are south of the border. I'm not too sure.
Well, just wait. Hey, by the way, trust me on that. By the way, we both have Andy and I both have something in common with you. Andy's little cute daughter. He's got the cutest kids in the world, by the way. His name's Chloe. She's a her, right?
Yeah.
Her name's Chloe. And then what me and you we have 2 things in common. A, we both have 9th grade educations, which is great. And B, we both have 6 goals, but you have half the fucking games, you dick.
Because you really have 6 goals and grade 9 education?
Yeah. Hi.
Oh my God, that's amazing, bro. Congrats.
Thank you. Good God.
Hey, what's your? Do you get on the ice? Do you skate? Do you watch the game? Are you in tune with the game of hockey? Like, where are you at with that?
Yeah, you know what? I got asked to go play in this charity game. It was around 6-7 years ago for Gordie Howe. Got in a scrap, pulled my back out, and haven't played since. I don't miss it.
When did you get in a scrap? Wait, time out. When was this? You said you got in a scrap?
This was about 7 years ago. I got asked to play in this charity game.
And you got no fight?
You got to fight in the charity game?
Some kid wanted to cross-check me. Yeah, I know, right? I was just dangling out there, and some kid cross-checked me in the back of the neck. And I said, "You fucking touch me again, we're going to go." And he goes, "Yeah?" He starts shaking his gloves. I'm like, "Oh, my God, my daughter's in the stands." I'm like, "It's a fucking charity."
Jesus. What the fuck charity is this?
It was for Alzheimer's. It was a Gordie Howe charity.
Oh my God.
So we start fucking tilting at center ice. I get kicked out for the rest of the tournament and pull my back out. So anyways, I haven't played since then. And as far as watching the game, hey, listen, these guys, my hat's off to them, but they're breeding different players now, and it starts in junior, and it's not their fault. I'll first say that. But the speed and the skill is obviously off the charts. Mm-hmm. But the game that I grew up watching, which was in the mid to late 90s, early 2000s, It's a game I miss.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
we
besides
all
the
do.
hooking and clutching,
we
dude.
all do.
Take the hooking and clutching out. I miss the monsters fucking going, dude. I'm not going to lie to you.
And speaking of that, though, like, because I got one last question from me.
I got one more.
But I mean, because you did fight a lot, you were like considered obviously like a legit tough guy in the NHL. So, like, who did you have the best battles with? Like, if people want to check out some of your scraps and whatever, like, who was the guy that you truly had a rivalry with on the ice that you just every time you guys played against each other, you met up?
Well, buddy, I wasn't even as close as active as you were. You were a fucking animal.
You're talking to Andy, right? No, time out. That wasn't Andy.
I love it.
Don't even tell him he's a fucking animal.
He knows it's me. He knows it's me. He knows it's me. Thank you, Sonny. Thank you, Sonny.
But when Janner would drop the mitts, I'd watch his fights on YouTube, and the look that he'd get in his eyes when his hands were bouncing back and forth, and he'd roll his sleeves up past his fucking elbow pads, it was go time.
It's all for the women.
But no, me and Danny Kordic had a couple good ones. I never really fought a guy more than 2 or 3 times. Like you had your rivalries, Janner. But you guys got to remember too, a lot of those times, like
suspended.
God damn it! Sometimes your hands, like I couldn't throw both hands, so I was all left. So there were games where Daryl would play me, and I'd have my hand wrapped up because I couldn't literally hardly get it in my glove. So I'd have to go out on the ice and say no to these guys. So it was a tough position, but I mean, I don't know. If you just put in my name, I guess there's a whole bunch of fights that come up, and they can decide which ones they like.
Exactly. Just go on a YouTube fucking rabbit hole like we all do.
And look for my fights, too.
Look for Andy's fights.
Look for my fights.
Keep looking. You want to fall asleep, watch Andy's highlights. One other funny story. So Andy and I are very connected down here with the alumni, obviously, and shit like that. And we skated with the buddies last night in our facility, and we talked to Chaser. And Chaser's like, we told him we're getting you on. He's like, oh, my God, he fucking pumped your tires up. Of course. But he goes, tell him about Surrey's house when that fucking dog fucking got me. I almost fucking killed it.
Hey, we forgot to mention it to Surrey, too, because I remember when Chaser came back. And he was hobbling
around. He's still
around.
pissed, dude.
Buddy, it was the most traumatizing thing I've ever seen. So we're at Shelley's, Surrey's, and he's got this dog called Dougie. And I'm telling you, Dougie was ready to rock from the time that thing was born to fucking, bite shit off. So anyways, Chaser comes in and he's got a beer in his hand. He's like, hey boys, blah, blah, blah. We're going out to the fire pit. And I see Dougie make a beeline. Oh. And I mean, and he's on a warpath. And he digs his teeth into Chaser's foot. So at this point, I see blood squirting everywhere. And Chaser, I've never heard a man scream like a girl before, but this was a fucking girl scream. And I mean, so I turn around because I'm going to pass out because I can't stand the sight of blood. And Shelley walks over and he starts to grab Dougie and, trying to get Dougie off of him. Long story short, Dougie unloaded the teeth. And Chaser's foot, that poor guy. So he works out at Gaza Ranch, so I saw him showing this property the next day, and he was dragging his foot in the dirt. And he had it all wrapped up, but it was a.
He got fucking infected, dude. Oh, yeah. It's still fucked up.
No, he would come in our studio and he would take his sock off and change the dressing on his foot.
God. He's got SARS. I mean, Mars or something.
Did he have a stake wrapped around his foot? Like, why would Dougie go after his foot? Come on now, Dougie. Oh, no. Sit, Dougie.
No, what it was Dougie had a little friend named Moose. And so when Chaser came in, Moose ran to the door, another little dog, and Chaser sort of pushed it away, hey, get out of here, little guy, or whatever. So Dougie thought that Chaser was, I think, getting rough with the little Moose, but that wasn't the case. I mean, it was
the dog's
just
a psycho.
Classic case.
He was.
It was a classic case. Yeah, it was a classic case where Dougie had a bit of a screw loose, and Chaser walked in at the wrong time.
Oh my God.
That shouldn't happen in the wealthy part of fucking Gaza Ranch. Now, where I live in the blue collar part of House Springs, those dogs are 7 under a fucking porch.
Exactly. They're chained up all day.
the best was the next day. Shelly went to take a shower, and fucking Dougie was still in the house. So I'm by myself, and I see this dog just staring at me. So I sneak out the back door. I go to his garage, and I grab a big fucking sword. And I come back, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, you want to roll?
You want to fucking do it?"
I'm holding this sword.
That's ridiculous.
Shelly comes out with his towel on, and we drop to the ground. We're dying laughing so hard, but it was quite the night.
Hey, Twister's dog almost killed me one day too. So
well, Twister almost killed you one day. Could you imagine what his fucking dog looks like? Looks just like Twister.
Looks just like Twister.
They're related.
Hey, they say your dog looks like the owner. So
hey, man. All right. Well, how about this? To pump up, where can everybody find the book and anything else you want to pump up?
The name of the book.
The name of a painkiller. Describe everything so listeners could fucking hook you up because we want you to make money.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. It's called Painkiller, a Memoir of Big League Addiction by Brantt Myres. You can literally get it on Amazon, wherever else you get books, I guess. I also did, by the way, I did the audiobook in my own voice, word for word. It took me about 33 hours to record it. It's a 10-hour audiobook. So if anybody wants to listen to it, in my voice, in the car or when they're working out, you can buy the audiobook as well.
Hey, Brantt, that's perfect. That's perfect because Cam can't read anyway. So this is actually perfect anyway. You got a very soothing voice too.
He does, man.
So, so people, I'm sure people are going to want to hook that up and get that book on tape.
Yeah, man. So, hey, I appreciate you coming out, dude. I appreciate you coming on the pod. You were great.
Yeah. And congrats on your sobriety, man. Honestly. Yeah. It's quite the accomplishment.
And you know my number, dude. Yeah. And I might have to be calling you sometime here. So just keep your fucking phone on you, will you?
I will, boys. And thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
You're the man, big boy. We'll talk soon.
That was Brantt Myres.
Wow.
What do you think?
Man, he's awesome. Wow, he went through hell and back. Mm-hmm. I mean, fucking all that blow, dude. Fucking, it's the devil. It's a devil, man.
What do you tell people that
it is? It's a fucking. It's
exposed to that type
nasty
of stuff.
Fuck drug, guys. When you're partying at night and you want to fucking sober up a little bit, okay. But you dig into it. It's so addicting. And then you don't want to have fun without it. Mm-hmm. So then you start drinking. You used to doing blow. So you start drinking. All of a sudden you get sloppy. And the girls aren't talking anymore. But you do a fat fucking line. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm back. So you get used to doing that. But then it doesn't stop. Mm-hmm. And then you start doing it away from people. And you lock that door. Mm-hmm. And you stand there for 15 fucking hours.
What do you think about people who judge those who have addiction issues and whatever?
Man, did I have to go through that shit, man. It's so weird how... It's not weird.
Can it happen to anybody?
It's fucking right. It could happen to anybody ever. And you know what, guys? If somebody says they do have a problem, I remember my buddies didn't understand it. I remember just withdrawing in my backyard. My buddies coming over let's do this. I'm like, I'm fucking weak. I'm like, and they do, come on, man. Come on. I'm like, you just don't get it, man. I had the flu times 1,000,000 with depression times 1,000,000,000. And I just want to be locked in my room and sweat and try to listen to Pantera and count the fucking ceiling fan. I can't communicate with anybody. I can't move. I can't do shit. And no one understands but my fucking parents. Because my mom's a nurse. She was a nurse at a jail. And she dealt with addicts left and right. And she'd walk in my house and look at me. And I haven't slept in a week. And she's like, I'm like, I know. I'm going through it, Mom. And then I had to get help. So it's like, man... Just don't let it go that far.
You just wonder what his career could have been, or maybe if it impacted his career.
Think that, but now he's doing good.
I could have asked him that, but I'm trying to make this what it truly is, which is he's a success story, man. This is not about what he didn't do. This is about what he's been able to overcome. Exactly, the way I see it, man. And he talks about how he grew up, serious adversity. People who didn't grow up in situations like that, man.
Yeah, it's hard to understand.
You just don't understand, and some people
try to.
Some people are strong enough or whatever, just mentally can block it out and just focus on what's ahead of them, and improving their life and whatever. Some people, it's a struggle, and they carry that with them the rest of their life, and they can't let it go.
I know, man. It's a demon. Remember, he just kept saying when I hear that voice, that's fucking Satan talking to me, man. That's like that. My mom always told you, there's two voices in the back of my fucking head. I got Satan and I got the good guy. And the good guy talks a little bit more. these days.
Well, I always want to know who the good guys are. That's why I asked him, like, who are some of the players that like were by your side? You know,
I'm talking about a fantasy.
I know. I got you. I know where you're going, okay. But like, it just led me into like thinking, okay, Doug Wilson, Daryl Sutter, Paul Coffey, Eric Lindros.
Hey, but you know what? There's
Owen Nolan. Like, these are good people.
Yeah, no, I know. And there's so much you could do for a guy, man. He's getting dinged left and right.
No, but when you're in rehab and you're isolated and you just had a baby that's born and all of a sudden you get like,
how about the NHLPA hooking him up?
Oh my God,
that was great to hear that.
The fact that they do that, I mean, they do stuff that they probably don't get enough credit for.
Oh my God! And you know what? Tom Wilson should have a fucking statue.
And it's not just paying for the rehab. It's what? It's all the other stuff.
It's everything. They paid for everything.
Go back to school.
I mean, that's why when you get dinged and you're losing that money, man, that's where it goes. And that's actually somewhat of a pretty fucking good feeling.
What do you think of
American League? I don't know.
What do you think of Dougie?
Oh, the dog? Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Oh, fuck that dog. I'm putting you down,
Are
motherfucker.
you?
Are you fucking crazy?
Blay would tear that dog apart.
That's so funny.
Blay would tear up that dog.
You are so aloof to so many different things. It's unbelievable.
By the way, the baby whitehorn sheep that was born the other day, and Blay was there to take care of it, put blankets on it and stuff like that. It's already
has a bird in his backyard.
It's already getting bigger. It's already getting bigger.
He thinks he's in the Congo. He's got a bird in his backyard.
No, it's a whitehorn sheep. Just gave birth in my backyard. It should have been like a National Geographic special.
I think that was a bunch of dudes from fucking Chaminade hanging out in your backyard, creeping out your
and Blaze putting like blankets on it, feeding it.
Well, the boys are over again for some reason.
It's funny because, like, you know how they had like little Moose?
Yeah. No.
Chaser messed with Moose, and that's why Dougie came after Chaser.
Oh, fuck. That's horrible, though, man.
So that's how Blay is. Like,
that's such a Hoosier
If you mess with the baby whitehorn sheep, Blay will go crazy. Anybody go near it.
Sheldon Surrey is such a, like, fucking... Like, just like a perfect... that's such a Hoosier move to have a dog like that.
That kills people? That, like, attacks people?
Such a Hoosier move, man. Like, you got to put that thing down.
It probably has a big, like...
Down. It's just you can't have dogs like that.
Collar.
Although my dog's kind of psychotic, too, at times, but whatever. We saved her.
Twister's dog, too, though.
That's Twister.
When we go back to Twisters for round two, the dog has to be tied up. Or in like a cage or something.
You're worried about the dog?
You need to worry about Twister, too.
You need to worry about something else.
We may have to have it at my house.
And we ain't going to your fucking house, dude. We're going to Twisters again. I'll tell you that right now. And I'm walking in before you. And then you're going to walk in like... Andy walks in. I walk into Twisters.
Hi.
Andy walks in like, "Hi, Andy's here. Hi, I'm here. Where's everybody at? Oh, look at the paintings. Get down, boy. Get down, boy." He's scared the fuck out of you.
Look at the paintings.
Look at the paintings. This is nice. I'm Andy. Sit down, boy. He's scared the fuck out of you.
Well, he's got some sick artwork. He's like an artist, dude.
He called me last night.
Twister?
Yep. I talked to him for 40 minutes.
How's he doing?
He was with a couple guys I know that had health problems, and Twister, man, he's got his crew of guys that he hangs out and takes care of and stuff like that. Yeah, so they called me pretty wasted. It was pretty funny.
He's got a beautiful spot, man, where he lives too. Great,
we love
great
him.
spot.
We love him,
and we love Brantt Myres too. So get the book, man. Support this guy.
Painkiller.
And here's the deal: like, he may not be like, compared to a lot of the guys that we've had on the podcast, like the most household name.
Yeah, no, not
but
at all.
It doesn't matter.
No, he's got an unbelievable story.
People inside hockey circles certainly are very familiar with who he is. And you listen to his story, man. How many people listen and be like, wasn't really sure, but I wanted to listen, and now you've got like the utmost respect for this guy.
For us too, Andy. Like, we could have a Babcock on and go hardcore with him, and then all of a sudden you get a guy like this on and talk about hardcore cocaine and fucking drug abuse. It's like, what do you want to throw at us? We'll fucking have an interview with you.
Yeah.
So,
okay, is that all you got?
That's all I got, man.
Okay, this has been episode number 122. And we thank Brantt Myres for coming on, man. Best of luck to your book, and I hope everybody goes out there and supports.
They will.
What he has going on. And they have it on tape, too. In all seriousness, that's a great way to read a book.
Yeah, he's got a soothing voice.
Paul Maurice. Sounds like Paul Maurice.
I didn't understand that.
Well,
I think he confused a lot of people.
You've never heard Paul Maurice talk.
Yes, I have.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I have.
Well,
he just talked about fucking Blake Wheeler and how much don't look at the analytics because he's our fucking captain. Blah, blah, blah. I listened to him.
Well, somebody listen. All my people out there in Saskatchewan, and my people, right? And
oh, you got people out there? I didn't know that.
Alberta.
I didn't know that.
Back me up on that. In Toronto, Winnipeg, my listeners in Winnipeg. Does he not sound like Paul Maurice when he talks?
Oh, they're going to be. That's a riveting question. I mean, they're like, fucking right, Andy. Here, let me message you right now.
That's a riveting question.
Christ.
All right, hey, that interview was brought to you by who? CarShield.
Yeah.
And carshield.com. Again, get that protection. Something goes down, you're protected. You get to pick where it gets serviced and who your mechanic is. Doesn't get much better than that. 800-857-2481. Mention the promo code CAM. You're going to save 10%.
Yeah.
What else might happen if you mentioned the promo?
I get laid.
Really? That's not. I wasn't going there. I wasn't even going there. I can't believe you said that. Oh, my God. I might say 10% if you mention the promo code. Mention Andy, too, and to see if it works. It probably does, actually. It might even save a little more money than that. 800-857-2481. Dan Bellman. Dan Mango Bellman, 2 N's.
He might be a little mango.
2 N's. Hey, check out all the vehicles they have out there in Troy. Bellman.com, 2 N's, like I said. And you got a car that you're just waiting to get rid of. Hey, they'll buy it from you right now, and you'll go off on a new set of wheels. Get some new wheels in time for the spring coming up. Cadillac, Buick, GMC. I'm looking at the Escalade, and Cam's looking at the Buick, which is perfectly fine. And they've got the GMC Yukons, man. They got everything going on. And then across the street, you got the Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. I mean, you talk about a selection. There's something for everybody over there.
I like those fucking big old Dodge Ram dualies with that fat ass diesel engine.
No one. They don't even have. I don't think they have those. They don't have dualies. Like, he's so much cooler than that.
What do you?
And you should know that.
Oh my God.
No, they don't have those.
Dude, you are.
I've never seen anyone drive. They don't even drive those.
You don't get out of your little fuck bubble, your pretty boy fuck bubble you have in the wealthy part of fucking Huntley. Dude.
They don't even drive.
You don't even know how to drive a truck.
Oh,
you don't even know how to drive a truck.
I could drive a truck.
Just like you drove that boat.
Well, hey.
I mean,
so check out all the vehicles and do it today.
They don't have dualies.
Hey, keep it handsome. KeepItHandsome.com. Have you seen the Fight Ugly Cam and Strick hats? Get those and get them now.
Sick time.
CamandStrick.com. Go there, click on the link for Keep It Handsome. Mention the promo code Cam and Strick. You're going to save 15%. So we're saving you money. A portion of the proceeds go back to fight bullying, and they go to the Montreal Resource Center. So that's what we're talking about.
Big deal right there, baby.
That is a huge deal.
People love that.
Get the Fight Ugly hoodie and get the hat, and I want to see pictures of it.
So
Let's go. I want to see some pictures. Get the shampoos, the conditioners, which are like top of the line. I mean, it makes you like your
flow.
Smells
sexy as fuck, dude. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Your flow is amazing. Get the hair gels. I use the beard moisturizer, Cam. I use it a couple different times a day. It's amazing what it does for my beard. You should do the same thing. I have the head balm that I put on daily, and I just like to mix it around. They got the sculpting paste and everything. So, getting ready in the morning has never been so much fun.
You should model
I'm
for that.
Thinking about it.
You should be a beard model.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that.
Make no money.
A beard model?
Make no money. Be a hand model. You should be. George Costanza, hand model.
Okay.
Your hands haven't fucking even picked up a shovel. Look at those cute little things. Not one cut on them. You don't even hair on your knuckles. Good Lord.
KeepItHandsome.com. And check that out.
Yeah.
All right, when I drive black tie. This is amazing, too. Pick the fleet of cars, become a member, and do it today. We only have 100 spots, so we're filling it up quickly. There's not that many left. You want to drive a car that you thought you'd never get into, like a G-Wagon, for example?
Yeah, dude.
You want to drive that for the weekend? How about a Jaguar?
Or that fucking Audi is it R8?
R8.
R8.
You want to have one? It's available right now.
Yeah,
it's black.
Tell them to save that motherfucking thing.
Well, I don't know. It's for me, probably. They'd probably rather give it to me.
They want it to you. Yeah,
They'd probably rather me.
They want the model to be Andy.
Yeah, they'd probably rather.
With his 40 followers on Instagram.
The beard model.
Yeah. Good God.
Oh, man.
Andy's going to model for everything now.
Absolutely. So, anyway, check it out. Cam's looking at that economy car, and there's nothing wrong. He wants to save gas mileage. He lives very far out.
No, I don't. Yeah. I'm like, I probably should think that way, but I'm fucking horrible.
He's got to drive a little distance. So, again, he can go back and forth how many times before you have to fill up when you're driving those economy cars? Probably
a long fucking time.
Yeah, I know, a long time. So, again, check that out.
They
have something for everybody. Ellie, Jared Leto, the whole crew over there.
He does look like Jared
They
Leto.
know what's up. Dylan knows what's up. Come on now. Let's make it happen. Obviously, we're getting into the nicer months, and we're just going to turn this thing out. We're taking it to the next level with Drive Black Tie. All right, that was Brantt Myres, man. Really enjoyed talking to us. And let's give a shout out to Rob Ramage, by the way, too, because he's a good buddy of Rammers. And
Ty Domi told us to get him on, too.
Domi did. Commodore did.
Damn, a lot of guys did.
And Rammer did too.
Yeah.
Man. So he's tight with everybody.
Yeah, man. No, I know.
We've got so much respect for all those dudes.
We love everybody, man.
Exactly. So listen, I'm glad we had him on. I hope everybody just appreciated a great story and
Learn
somebody
from it.
somebody who's willing to put themselves out there like that. You know what I'm saying? This is what happened to me, and he will impact a lot of people in a positive way. And I hope you were impacted today from hearing Brantt Myres' story, man. Again, thanks. Much respect to Brantt Myres. All right, this has been episode number 122. Thanks as always for listening to the Cam and Strick Podcast.